This podcast is sponsored by Delilah's Hair Shop, specialists in hair removal of any kind. Get 100% off your next trim if you tell her your deepest secrets. Wait, what?
Okay, anyway, so yes, welcome everyone.
Sorry.
We are recording. Oh yeah, I like to do this because it's easier to edit in our starting, so.
You don't make it sound like you're professional.
I learn. I don't just listen to podcasts. I study them. I like that.
When you justify where the numbers go up and you get down, maybe you do something else.
I'll write a letter to our mayor.
I'm genuinely upset about this.
Have you never realized that?
I don't think so. I'm just thinking like maybe because you just press the lift and I just go to the house.
Rather than actually studying the charts.
I looked, but I didn't pay attention. So I looked, I just saw 52 and 59 is 10. It's like,
yeah.
So when 56 rather. So when I did that, I got confused when you then said 59. It's like, oh snap, I'm in the wrong house because I knocked and he didn't open.
Yeah.
So I go up the thing thinking, no,
59 is upstairs.
I'm not 42 now.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what type of Matrix type house with a locksmith key maker do I need to go into now? Like, this is weird.
Yeah, just to paint a picture for everybody, our flats start from 100 downstairs, and then the top floor is number 1. I guess probably that's the way they want it.
That's the final boss. That's the boss.
Genuinely felt like literally felt like the key maker was somewhere opening doors and everything. I wish it was like, because all the doors look the same, and you strap there almost like someone has to open the door.
Go to another dimension.
No, do you know what it is? I think the designers were massive Mortal Kombat fans. Remember the test your might ladder?
Exactly.
The lower down you went, the harder got. So,
So is Goro's living upstairs or something?
pretty much. Because I've never seen anyone coming from above Lance's floor, to be fair. So.
I've never
There's
seen
actually that you can't get
I've never
lift
known
going
of
up.
anybody, huh?
You can't get a lift going up, you know.
No, it stops at 17 and you have to get...
Are you serious?
No, even now, so honestly, if you try and press,
I think it stops at 17 from the last time.
Do you know what this is? This is just an advert for not paying attention. Because, like you said, I literally just get in and press number 10. I don't look at the numbers on there.
Yeah.
And the only time I realized that it starts at number 1, is it 100 or 120?
100 101 or something like that.
Was, I think this is like maybe 3 or 4 years after spending many times here. And what was the other thing that really weird me? Yeah, so you can only get it to the odd numbers on one
side and even numbers on the other floors
of
there.
Or with one set of lifts for each side.
Yeah.
Oh snap! Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So,
so
all the flats with even numbers are of the right.
That makes so much sense. I got a bit self-conscious when I was getting the lift because I got on. So obviously, you need someone to open the door for you.
Oh yeah.
This one guy comes in, so I'm right behind him. So he goes on this side of the lift, right? There's this girl who actually came just before us.
Right.
So she goes on that side of the lift. But I was like, so the lift opens. Well, check it out. So the lift opens on this side, right?
Yeah.
And me and Mike do go in. But I'm thinking, if the lift is open, go like, why don't you come in?
Oh, she's just standing
on the side. Something like, oh, maybe she's thinking that we're blokes and like that.
Oh, she doesn't want to
lifts and
go,
stuff. I'm like, alright,
society,
right? Yeah. I don't. It doesn't want to be uncomfortable. But like, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you need to go home. Like, I mean, which one is it? But then now when you say it's
it's
odd
odds and evens,
Basically, let's just move. Let's actually get into the podcast. We should do an episode about this building.
The buildings of
clearly.
We could manage that, I'm sure.
The buildings of the UK. The buildings and the roads of Birmingham.
I don't even think it's just Birmingham as a whole. I mean, you're going to talk about roads, go to Swindon.
How about Wolverhampton? You saw how they only fixed them like 3 years ago.
What is going on with Wolverhampton and this is for another episode. But when you try, have you seen like where the police station is? And like the roads, like they're blocked. What is going on with that? Do you know? I'm just saying that.
All I can say,
Birmingham is getting hyped right now because I think they're the Commonwealth Games and Birmingham is like.
They're now trying to
They killed the thing. They killed the Commonwealth Games. Absolutely blistered, and it's like these are the homies. So Birmingham's got the Commonwealth Games next 4 years, whatever it is. So we've got that platform as in Brum being this big magnitude country, or little country, little area, I suppose, little city in the country, and then Wolverhampton's 30 minutes away. And the roads are going in completely different ways. We haven't got basic architecture. Houses are going up, Borough, Baraka upstairs. What is this about? Shokan. That's it.
Right up there.
Right
Johnny
up there.
Cage is at the bottom.
Baraka and what's his name? And Shamsun and all those.
I bet you there is a lift from 17 upwards. You just have to do a friendly or a babyality.
Probably, yeah.
That's probably
unlock
what's
the
going-
80 mil.
Yeah.
That would be kind of oxymoron. Real big reality I would
Yeah,
kill.
because but it's Mortal Kombat. That's not what you'd be expecting.
Yeah,
Take me to your houses. I did not expect this to happen.
Here we
Oh,
go.
My house is the Sonya Blade, Melina, Kitana.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. Slightly more technical.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
So,
No,
anyway, that was our intro. And let me introduce our guests. Actually, let me introduce myself. I'm Lance, and I've got my co-host Bo, the only man whose details Cambridge Analytica don't have.
Yes, sir. Everything in my house is analog.
And I'm just like, is that a good thing, man? See that you're off the grid, or which might be a good thing.
This is a good
Or,
thing.
I don't know.
This isn't even my real voice. You guys don't even know.
It's modulated.
It's
like a Batman.
It's like the Chappelle skit one when you just like pretend like the black news report, like the one
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
It's like this is with my real voice. I suppose people will talk. We're waiting for you to kind of bring to it.
Now there's probably someone listening. So why would you choose that voice?
Yeah, yeah.
This
This
is
is whoever's thinking that. I have a hand gesture just for you.
Anyway, and we have our guest and good friend TC. How are you?
Is that it? Like, the Cambridge Analytica doesn't have my details, or they do have mine?
It's kind of co-host.
It's not. I feel like I'm like Sonya Blade level at the moment.
Nah, you cool.
Like you guys are out here all gore and killing out, and just throwing little, kicks,
Hey, man, look.
like kicks and stuff.
It's
all I can
everybody.
say-
I like the fact that now you even can justify that. You're struggling, can you know?
Do you know what?
I just want to stick to my roots.
I was gonna-
Kanye, I'm just saying. okay.
Someone's calling me.
I was gonna say that at least be happy that you're not the Dan of the podcast.
The what, sorry?
Dan of the podcast.
Who's Dan of the podcast?
Dan Street Fighter Dan.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
But you know what the thing about Dan is? Like, okay, in his defense,
Wrong guy to
I know, right?
Yeah. In his defense.
in his defense, I mean, this is the thing about Dan. Dan is misunderstood, like genuinely.
Speaking about Dan or Dan is yourself.
You said I'm not Dan, but you made that
not
admission.
Dan.
He said I'm not Dan. Why would you think that? So now, in my own psychic, like deep analytical
Why
mind,
did
I'm
he go
like,
to Dan?
That you know-
He didn't
that
say
was-
at least I'm not Ken. No,
do you know what I
he
mean?
said I'm
Not even Ken. Not even Ken.
Yeah.
T-Ball. Or even like, what's his name?
T-Hawk.
T-Hawk or something. Or Belrock.
Oh, Balrog.
Do you know what I
I was
mean?
just trying to think who's the throwaway character in Mortal Kombat, and I could not.
Do you know one of my favorite throwaway characters? This thing, the Jamaican dude. What's his name?
Oh, DJ.
DJ. If you said I'm not DJ, I'm like, I hope I'm DJ. I'll be cool DJ. Dan is a misunderstood soul.
Yeah.
He's kind of got a Hurricane.
But you know,
kind of has one.
See, girls find
So
that
he
sexy, though.
disrespect-
Like, oh, he's so
So
misunderstood.
he disrespect the Hadouken by doing it with that one hand.
He does one hand, but he hasn't got enough of the chi though. But he compensates the chi with grace and hair. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like he's
name someone with a better ponytail.
trust.
I'll wait.
So it was like a Hadouken. What was it? Cultural appropriation.
Wow.
A cultural What about Ken then? How come he gets away with cultural appropriation?
But against
Because he's blonde and blue eyes. And
Yeah,
blonde
exactly.
people with blue eyes.
Even though
don't
it's a movie, at
appropriate
least he
any-
respects it the
don't.
way.
Yeah, of course not. No.
Of course they.
No.
I mean,
They're not part of the Aryan race at all.
I was kind of going down. I was going to throw it in there like, got like the
they
Nazis
just-
were pretty much
they
just
just-
blue-eyed and blonde, but I don't want
I
to
was
discriminate on
about to say
anyone.
they just misunderstood, but that can be misconstrued.
No, I mean, I think they can't understand it. They just want everyone else like no one else should exist but us.
Hey, so was Ken Barbie named after Ken? You know Ken Barbie doll?
Nah, I don't think so.
No, Ken Barbie was.
But
Well,
if
you
you
know
know
Ken-
this, no, if you know this,
I was gonna let me keep quiet because I'm
The man is leaving the room. nah.
why? Okay, please explain. We're not going to judge you anymore because you said no, Ken Bobby. For purposes of just actual knowledge, why and how did this come about? Why is he called Ken?
Well, Ken
Ken
Barbie,
Barbie,
yeah.
No, that I don't know.
But
No,
what you
but
know,
I know that Ken from the Ken and Barbie dolls was not obviously not named after the Ken. from
How'd you know
the
that?
Street Fighter, because I think that doll was done probably way before that Street Fighter
fair
came out.
point.
So.
Nice save. I still don't
So
believe
you're not trying to incriminate yourself here, but you know what?
It's because this is why he doesn't let us in his room. This makes so much sense.
Hey, my door was wide open.
He says that now while it's got pork chops on it. The secret comma going up or down.
Exactly.
I don't know.
That's where the secret lift is. It's his Ken Barbie dream house. That's what it is.
No one
We
ever
figured it out.
That makes sense.
Hey, probably this is not my real house.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, he's been fronting. Okay, now we know.
The real owners will be here at 7 o'clock.
We gotta get recording. Let's do this.
Yeah. So anyway, we have gathered here today. Jeez,
Wow.
It's like a funeral. But anyway, yeah, today
I was
we're
thinking wedding. You went down the dark side, but I don't know if that. You know what? I'm not even gonna finish my thought. Let's just keep going.
We know in a couple of days it's gonna be the Independence Day celebrations of our lovely country, Zimbabwe.
Woo-hoo. The first independence, not the current one. Everybody's talking about like it's an actual independence.
Yeah, well.
Hey, you know what? It's the service.
Oh, the second
It is,
Independence.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It's all it is. I mean,
it is the
yeah.
first
Not a way
Independence. Damn, the first Independence without Mugabe. Damn.
Wow.
well, technically, I don't think it's in a ceremonial sense. I mean, he's still out there saying that
Yeah,
this,
he's
this
still
democracy doesn't stand. So cool. Like, the fact that
It's
you're
like,
out there
can
being there.
you go put on your adult diapers
Yeah, you know what I mean?
and go to bed early? Like, why are you?
Like-
It's 5 p.m. Why are you still awake?
Like, you should be
Like,
on holiday somewhere in a,
I know, right?
in a caravan.
I've
you know what
never
I mean?
seen someone not want to let go of power.
How does he
Or-
know
or-
anything else?
Man,
He's like,
is
I was gonna
is
say he's
Mugabe?
like Rick.
I was actually thinking,
No, he doesn't say no,
it's
it's
exactly
like-
like
no, it's
Wait,
honest. It's true.
Here's a question for you
Ah,
that I just thought of.
Here we
Is
go.
Mugabe the O.J. Simpson of presidents? Because O.J. got away with murder, and then he ended up he kept on trying to, go back. Do you get what I mean?
I would go one better, and I'll
Yeah.
tell you who the O.J. Simpson of presidency is.
Yeah.
It's Berlusconi.
Yes!
Oh wow!
Absolutely.
Wow!
Slam dunk. We
Yeah,
can stop
stop.
recording. Episode is
That is
over.
it.
That's the
End of
good.
podcast.
Yeah.
Easily.
But anyway,
Yeah.
about Zimbabwe, we want to talk about the greatest TV station to ever exist in Zimbabwe. This was the only one.
Only one to, when did actually continue?
Yeah, no, we'll get into that, but I'll say the others, I don't know about DSTV, but I know Joy TV came in late 90s.
Yeah, about 98,
98 around that time.
DSTV was around, but very few people had it.
Yeah, it
we
was
actually had DSTV for a bit, but it was there in the 90s in itself, but it wasn't as
Yeah,
mainstream
it's-
as this.
Urban didn't have DSTV, but this was when the
Oh, then
The big
dishes were the
dishes.
size
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Yeah, my uncle used to fit satellite dishes in Zim,
Oh,
which is,
really?
so that's how I got to get DSTV very early.
yeah.
And one of the first channels I saw was MTV. One of the first songs I saw on MTV
Yeah.
was Destiny Child and Wycliffe Jean. No.
No way! Right!
That's my first song I
Wow.
saw on MTV was that.
That's
All
cool.
that thoughts.
Yeah.
All that
Story.
thoughts. But anyway, we're gonna be talking about, it's TV shows,
Mm.
cartoons, whatever, and how twisted it was because we got every garbage from all the other from the US, UK, Australia, all the garbage just landed on.
Do you know, that's kind of like why, so as Zimbabweans now who are in England, who are in diaspora, and essentially I think for all Zimbabweans are in diaspora who have been in Zim
Yeah.
for about their teenage, going on to just before they left that era,
Yeah.
and then they come here, we all have these mangled up accents.
Yeah.
Right? We have all
Yeah.
these American,
Yeah.
British, kind of
Miss-
whatever,
yeah.
all over the place. And
Yeah.
they ask us, I've never been to America, but
Yeah.
people think that I'm from
And
Holland.
they're like, yo, you from Philly? Like,
No, yeah, I know. Watching
I
too
mean, I
much
have an
Fresh
aunt
Prince.
named
That's
Philly.
why.
Like, yeah, born and raised. I'm a playground.
That's a
That's
cool
very
feeling.
nice.
As far as it goes.
Yeah. But I just want to kind of counter we didn't get the rubbish. We just got stuff that was out of seed, that was now finished. So we got the leftovers.
I wouldn't go that far.
Not leftovers, sorry. We got stuff that was no longer syndicated in the States.
Yeah, I guess you put it that way. It wasn't rubbish. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
rubbish. But,
I like the best way to put it in an analogy is that we were the TK Maxx.
Yeah.
yes,
We
so
were
what was the
TK
TK Maxx? Yeah, of the BBC.
I'm here all
TK
day.
Maxx
whatever.
slash
Of-
British Heart Foundation.
Yeah, I'm here all day
Yeah,
with them.
yeah.
Pretty
But
much.
then again, we got good bargains for
It was
it.
understandable.
We got the good stuff.
No, but
anyway.
it was
yeah.
always the good stuff. The difference is that, so for
was-
example, like with British TV, we were getting stuff that they watched like a decade before that.
Yeah,
After
yeah.
that, rather.
We-
After, yeah.
Like Allo Allo.
Exactly.
You know, you've been
Yeah.
We
served
were
with, like
90s
70s
kids who
stuff.
grew up on 70s and 80s stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it
But that was
was.
British stuff. American stuff, we watched it at just
As
around the same
it's-
time, about maybe a couple of years in. Because
Yeah,
like Saved
yeah.
Saved by the Bell.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Saved by the Bell, Fresh
Yeah.
Prince. I think we watched it right.
We were watching
Because I
it.
remember when it ended around, I think, ended in Zimbabwe, but it didn't end here. But like, it was like 94, 95, which was.
What I would love to know is the reason why, and I think that might be contractual between what the BBC would have had with the ZBC, because that's obviously how it comes into licensing and copyrights and stuff. Now that we know how it works, so it'd be interesting to find out how BBC would give us Worzell Gummidge all his old 70s programs.
Worzell Gummidge is actually Australian.
Is it
really? It's an Australian,
What? Worzell Gummidge, really?
Worzell Gummidge is an
But I also want to know what agreement they have, because things like Neighbours is broadcast here in the same way.
Exactly.
Because
we were up to date with Neighbours, but then we had Worzell Gummidge and some random stuff. What was it? I'll have to Google it. I'll Google it. They were done with the toys. They were basically they were actual people, but they were in like.
With
the truck and the hot water bottle.
Johnson and Friends.
Johnson and Friends, So random stuff like that.
But we watched all of this stuff though. I mean, I watched like Baba and you like what do you call even Tintin and stuff like that. Watching that. So watching a lot of, but I don't think kids in England watched Tintin in the way that we did.
No.
Like,
I think we took it as just like a normal cartoon. Well, I did it
because Tintin is legendary. Tintin is this
because
is like
I spoke to my friend.
Like what can you tell?
Tintin, because I remember having a debate with a friend of mine.
Here we go.
And I watched the documentary of Roger, the artist who did.
Is he racist?
No.
The fact that you can't answer completely is racist. If you can't say no,
it's not racist. There's just some things we need to talk about.
Yeah, there's some aspects of it. Well, what I remember from the documentary, and I remember telling my friend this, because you were saying that. Well, you didn't worry about the racism part of it.
Oh, that's a big worry.
You was talking about how Tintin was a Nazi.
Yes,
but Tintin. Well, when I watched the documentary of his interview, you were saying that Tintin was modeled after his friend, who was
a Nazi.
So, in a way,
is a full-on Nazi. He's Nazi-ish.
Yeah, Nazi-ish.
Like he's not gonna punch you in the face because you're black, but when he sees you, he's gonna be like, oh! No, we're actually friends we met before. So
basically, still Nazi. Still Nazi.
Yeah, still Nazi. Yeah.
What is the justification? So is there?
I can't remember about the racism part. Where if he had.
But I mean, if it's Nazi, it's racist. Like we just put it out. Yeah. But what is the elements of Nazi characteristics?
It was just his model, his face, and the way he looked.
What the Nazi.
That's fine. But
is he ginger or was he red?
No, he was blonde hair.
He was blonde hair.
Yeah, it was just the way he was designed.
He just designed.
So that was what he was like.
I think it was more the color palette as opposed to
like his
design. So he was meant to be blonde.
So do you think I didn't neutralize that to kind of get away from that area?
Probably not, because when Tintin came out, they didn't care about that.
I don't know, man. I'm sure, don't forget that it's for us, maybe we wouldn't have picked that up. But of course, we said this model is based on Nazi.
But that's why Tintin was cancelled in some countries.
Word?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's because of that. And obviously...
And the countries it was cancelled in sent all the tapes to Zimbabwe.
But then again,
imagine us watching Nazi pro-propaganda, Nazi youth material at home.
Yep. And thinking, man, I want to be.
Do you know what? I wanted to talk about.
Marching down the house and.
Do you know what? I wanted to talk about this, and I was suspicious of this. Yeah. Censorship, in a way, didn't exist in Zimbabwe. If you look at those terms, because there was Remember, we used to watch a movie like, let's say, Kickboxer, and on the 18th. In the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, I remember that one.
On a weekend, I remember they used to show it. In the middle of, and this is just like...
Yeah. And I remember whenever there was like nude scenes, they wouldn't blur the screen, it would pause at the frame that was just before the sex scene would stop, pause on TV, and you'd hear the sound until the end of the sex scene, and then it would play.
I guess censorship did exist as well.
And then there was this... There was
a bit communist.
There was a few movies where to me, it felt like they were censoring them live because, like, 3/4 of the swear word would come before the beat came in. So it's like...
Jeffrey was not on the ball there, was he?
No.
Jeff, come on, Jeff. Jeff was here, Jeff, come on.
Anyway, sorry,
we're
back to
no, that's fine, guys.
I mean, come on, so that Tintin digression needed to happen. He's a Nazi, come on, we're just going to let that fly.
And I loved Tintin.
Me too.
I thought he was a badass, but he seems like, was he fighting the British then? He was like a... Because the people that used to always chase him and fight him always looked like he was like...
No, he had the Thompson and Thompson twins
who were
British, and we used to help him out.
Yeah.
So, but
So what we're saying is the British secretly helped the Nazis.
Oh, there's.
Yeah, let's not get into
That was another episode.
Like, we talk about the royals in this. Like, we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it.
Let's stick to TV.
But I think to answer your question, you said like how did I think you said something about how we ended up having the programs that we had.
Yeah.
So this according to Wikipedia. So take it, leave it as you wish.
Basically, edited on the day.
Yeah.
So,
is this your Wikipedia entry? Is that
in my entry? Yeah, I was like, let me.
We're just about to hear it. Here's a random fact.
Random.
Listen to a random Wikipedia fact.
Guinea pig in it. Test the words on it. I can believe it.
Yeah.
If they do believe it, yeah, I'm gonna publish it.
Let me give you a random Wikipedia fact. So I have my friend. You didn't Julian, not black Julian. There's a white Julian. Did you meet Julian? You play guitar at my wedding.
Oh, I know white Julian.
Yes. Yeah. So him and his siblings are geniuses. Right. Like, and I don't mean like they're really smart. No. Like he's got twin younger brothers. I think between them they have like 7 degrees or something. 2 of which they got while they were still in high school. Something stupid like that. But and this made me laugh when I found out the initial page on Luxembourg was written by one of his little brothers. His little brother got bored one day and he wrote a Wikipedia page, not just an entry on Luxembourg, the whole page of. I was like, come on, man. And
he plays guitar.
No, this is his little brother.
The little brother.
He plays. I'm a musician. I mean, I'm not knocking musicianship. I'm just saying, like,
he teaches music. No, but he's got like a degree in like biochemistry and physics. I think he's got a maths degree as well. Yeah. But he just loves music. So.
Now the music is the way. I just thought in the sense of like when you're young, your siblings are out there ruling the world.
Exactly. Just in the background.
Policy of Luxembourg, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like,
I thought that was where it was going.
When he said that, I was like, oh, which entry? I was like, no, the whole thing. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, he was bored.
Are you writing about the foreign policy from 1979 to 1979 Luxembourg?
Dude, it's from the top, but it's the entire family. So the parents are also like.
Are they ruling Luxembourg or something?
Possibly.
Imagine being the pressure of going down the line in that genealogy. So when you get down to you, and everyone else there has written their own Wikipedia versions of countries and wrote theses. And what do? I'm a butcher.
Yeah. But I bet you'll be the baddest butcher.
That's some Carlsberg stuff, bro. Best butcher ever.
Sorry.
So anyway,
according to Wikipedia.
So this actually, speaking of facts, television was introduced in November 1916, first in Salisbury, which is now Harare.
Oh no!
Yeah, with transmissions in Bulawayo beginning 7 months later. It was the only second such service in sub-Saharan Africa after Nigeria.
It is.
And the first such service in Southern Africa as South Africa and Southern Africa and South Africa did not introduce television until 1976.
Makes sense why as well.
So in 1979, following the adoption of the new constitution, Rhodesia was renamed Zimbabwe, and in common with other state institutions which were renamed, the state broadcaster was renamed Zimbabwe Rhodesia Broadcasting Corporation. And this saw the debut of Mandy Mundawarara. I don't know if you guys know her.
It sounds really familiar.
Yeah, the country's first black television newsreader.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
think probably was, huh?
And he was a woman.
He was a woman.
Oh, well, no, it doesn't say what gender. It's I don't know if it's Mandy or Mandy.
What do you spell it? Is it Mandy with a Y?
M-A-N-D-Y with a Y.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Because it could be, this is it. Could be any sex.
Yeah, could be. And even, I was trying to read on, but it says whose father, so I was just like...
Did you Google Mandy?
Nah, I didn't have the time, dude. We still got a lot to talk about.
Yeah? I'm not putting the spot?
Yeah.
But anyway, so following independence, the state broadcaster became ZBC. In the reflection of the new ZANU-PF government political leanings, in a reflection of the news, ZANU-PF government political leanings, Robert Mugabe previously described only as a terrorist leader, was now described as a comrade prime minister, which I just can't. I had to put it because of that name.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it, man.
Propaganda started early.
Yeah. Day one. Switch on the TV.
Comrade prime minister. Yeah.
But
So
I
this
get
is
it.
partly to answer your question. 30% of television program was locally produced. By late 1982, local programming accounted for 40% of the output, which some programming was in Shona and Ndebele. 80% of the programming was in English, of which most was imported, mainly from US, Britain, and Australia. Despite this reliance on foreign content in the 1980s, the locally produced drama Mdumkaluta Family became the most popular program in the country. So I'm trying to skim through this now. Yeah. Anyway, so go on. So as
This is happening all day.
I'm trying to skip a decade. Yes.
So the breath is for that decade.
Like for if the breath were every decade. So anyway, fast forward. Gobi said a statement saying that you do not know what propaganda a non-state radio station might broadcast. However, the government announced that the ZBC monopoly on broadcasting will be abolished by the end of 1997. As a result, ZBC's second channel was discontinued. I don't know, we had a second one.
TV2.
Damn. And replaced.
That's literally what it was called. But I think it was on for like 4 hours a day.
Was it like from like 2 till 6 or something?
Yeah, also weird. Okay.
Something random.
So this was taken over by Joy TV, the country's first independent channel, which operated on a lease agreement with the ZBC. This channel lasted until 2002. Rest in peace. When it was controversially taken off air for allegedly violating the Broadcasting Services Act. And it's suspicious because that's when the 2002 elections would be
referendum.
Yes, and of course, Joy TV was that international. Well, for people who didn't have DSTV, people go to Joy TV because they had they had movies and had international
movies and stuff like that.
and cartoons.
And it had other locally produced stuff that you wouldn't see on.
Oh, that's true.
Do you guys remember Over the Edge?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Joy TV.
Wow. Yeah. So
did it when Joy TV was shut down? Is that when it became? Was it LDM?
I know. There was a time when I remember that channel, and I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think
for a very small period of time.
Yeah, it was not for long.
Small, but then they shut that one down real quick too, and that's when everything became local.
Yeah. So it changed from. This probably.
I remember that.
I was
because I remember being gutted that Joy TV died because there was
and LDM kind of was like a little like
a morsel.
I'm like okay, Joy TV's gone, but LDM is kind of it's gone too.
It was so whack then. So whack.
Yo.
I remember just how.
Remember TV used to end at 8. Was it 8 or 9 p.m.? Like after the news, then you just hear the.
No, it was 12 bells. It was 12.
No, it was extended to 12. It wasn't always 12.
Was it?
It wasn't always 12.
Are you serious? I couldn't remember.
It might not have been as early as 9. Maybe it was like 10.
I think Joy TV is the one that used to earn very earlier than ZBC.
No, Joy TV started later. Joy TV
started around 5, 6.
Oh yeah, but they finished come at 10.
They also finished really early.
And then MABC would show up and then they'll have movies or something. Or was it MABC or something? I don't know. There'll be movies
random, like Mnet or something like the South African channel.
Yeah. So going to the present, ZBC television service now consists of single channel known as ZBC TV.
So that hasn't changed.
So the ZBC re-established a second TV channel of its own, Channel 2, again in April 2010.
Really?
But this station was decommissioned in August 2015. I don't know why, but it seems like it's just doing the same thing over and over again. But anyway, as long as people have DSTV in Zimbabwe, they're not going to.
Yeah. It's more than. Zimbabwe is such a weird country when it comes towards that, and I think the thing that kind of annoys me in a quiet slumber of steaminess that is boiling inside me as I listen to that is the whole. It's just like the thing that really gets me about Zim, and I think television, for example, is a good example of that because propaganda in itself is a very key word that Mugabe uses when he introduces ZBC to the Enjoy TV, etc. And even you find the propaganda in TV coming in, and she spoke about South Africa initially, because NSA didn't introduce television into the 1970s because mainly because of the international community saying apartheid was so wrong, and so everything else was broadcasting saying, you know, you had all the conventions, you know, free Nelson Mandela, you had everything, so they boycotts and sanctions, basically kind of, because if you're in an oppressive communist type, not to say communist is an oppression, but if you're in an oppressive environment, the last thing you want to do is to show people are galvanized and are there with you in that way. That's why people like Winnie Mandela are very important.
Yeah, because I read, whilst I was reading the article on Wikipedia, they were also saying that the people who...
The disappointment on my face.
Anyway, before I was really interrupted by his chips.
Right.
I was saying that
they were saying that
the people who were the people who were doing like the broadcasting for the rebels in like Mozambique, Tanzania, and all that. Just leave it. You can't tell Chris.
Why? I'm telling you to shush. Keep it going. I didn't even throw them off.
You know what? If we ever do progress to the point that we have videos and stuff like live footage in our podcast,
no, I'm off the grid. I can't be on video.
Well, it's too late. We'll see.
I can't see.
Unless you show the Zimbabwe on the second channel.
Anyway, as I was saying, like the people who, when obviously after independence, the people who are broadcasting, well, I can say pirate stations then now, were helping broadcast stuff from Zimbabwe to the rebels or from outside.
Like Mozambique and
those are the people who took over ZBC when the initial change came, so which makes sense. People who had experience in working in televisions.
No, and also propaganda.
Propaganda.
It's not one away from that. I don't want us whatever the fact is. These guys are great television pioneers, but they also knew how to hide info.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you read the thing that, as I still say, with the whole rant our thought was coming in, was the fact that Zim is a place that shows you the world and tells you not to tap into it.
Yeah.
It literally is. It's one of those, like, they show you international television.
Cockblockers. Yes.
Absolutely. Genuinely. It's like, look, this is what you can achieve, but I'm not going to let it happen. I can just watch you stifle from that. And it's like the whole thing for me, one of the things I genuinely hated about our government throughout was the fact that Zimbabwe, as educated people, we are able to differentiate BS and non-BS. Right? We're able to do that. But then you have a man look at you in the face, like dead on, and tell you the sun is not come out. That is not the sun. You know, like
that
an intellectual man. It's not even
trying to burn into your skin.
It's not even. It's not even. The levels are so
trying
high.
To give you skin cancer.
You know, you even know on such an intellectual manner how something functions. But you then say this is not happening.
Which they educated you on.
Right? Yeah, they gave the
okay, the sun will rise tomorrow from this angle. Yeah. And when the sun comes up, no, that's not the sun.
That's not the sun.
Like, okay, but you just told me
how it comes out. But at what angle, what trajectory, how it's going to be.
And it's exactly where you told me it was going to be.
But it's not the sun.
But it's not the sun. Okay, cool.
That's the problem. That's exactly how it's knowledge for TV. Because you have TV in itself and say it's not being shown to everyone else. I mean, TV was really hard for me because I used to watch a lot of TV coming through, and I was also privileged to kind of watch some DSTV. So one of the things that used to hit me is that when we kind of went, you could see the timelines. That 90s period was great for us in the television. Amazing. Absolutely the golden era of television. But then it also kind of coincided with political unrest and political uneveness, and you had the whole aspect of someone having to consolidate their power. And one of the best ways to do that was through television. Obviously, I don't want to jump the gun in the scripts, I'm sure we're going to talk about it.
No.
But that's the whole Jonathan Moyo information coming through.
And before you go ahead, we'll get into
and
that.
Then that's that.
So, and I was going to ask you guys a question, but I thought that's going to be pointless. I was like, if I mention ZBC TV, what's the first thing that pops in your head? So
I will tell you, I was talking to, there's several.
Just one.
One?
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Dude, we've got a podcast to do.
Can I two? Can I slide in real quickly? Two. Come on.
Okay, two. Okay. First one.
TV starts, and then you'd have a bit of African music, like involved international African music, right? And then you'd have, you know, the first ones I used to love watching TV when it started on was that, the one that Shakira did. Yes, I'm gonna what? Yes, I'm gonna what? Right? Do you have that?
Does anyone to this day know what that means?
I tried to find the lyrics of that. Actually, no. I think
Okay.
I didn't come prepared for. I honestly did.
Right. We need to
Bad
find it.
I actually did research that and I actually found that there's 2 versions of the song.
Yes.
Right, yeah,
Yes,
I've heard there was
exactly.
2,
Yeah.
2 versions of it. Amazing. There's nothing they did like a live version of it.
And then there's the one
they
with
were
that
dressed in
CG and TV. And
and then there's one that they did kind of like outside and they were marching like. So it's like technically it's 3 because the one they did live would just be like one long version. So
anyway, your thoughts, yeah.
And the second one is the news.
Drums. That's what I was going to say. When I think of ZBC,
Yeah.
I think of ZBC News and the drums for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
One, that drum melody, that rhythm is to this day in my DNA, and it is epic.
It's absolutely
2, it meant bedtime because I was news, so I loved it with all my heart, but I hate it with all my heart.
You knew it was
in
close to
equal measure.
bedtime,
Like it's
bro.
not even a half love and a half no. I fully hate it and I fully love it.
Oh, man.
And I'm gonna slip in one more. The Zim advert. Do you guys remember that?
Which one is that?
Like this proper, like really operatic kind of feel. And
that when I was, like,
plane was
going
flying
through-
through the clouds, and it was all. It
the
was
big
basically
balls and stuff as well?
it was basically the British Airways ad, just much better. Like, and I'm not just saying that because I'm patriotic. Nah, it was just every time it came on, it was just like I've never been on a plane before, but after watching this advert, I know exactly what it's like to be on a plane.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I love that
Did
advert
you do the
so
Zeppelin
much.
spit as well?
Yeah, man, definitely.
How did that sound?
They did the racial profiling and everything. Yeah, the random quote unquote selection. Yeah.
What do you feel like a moral high club?
Wow, I mean, that's for another podcast. I have a child. I can't tell her that. You know, she's gonna listen.
You're not
back
going to
to me.
incriminate yourself right now?
No, sir. Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah.
What about you, Lance? What's the one thing?
Yeah.
Do you know what? For me, ZBC, man, I just realized, man,
Come on, hold it in, bro. Come on, you can do it, bro.
Do you know what? I think it's the first time I realized now that I was a kid who was locked in the house.
Yeah.
Because I've just realized how much of the cartoons I watched growing up.
Yeah.
And ZBC, like, when I think of ZBC, that's what I think of. Because I remember
They did
preschool,
not have
especially
one bad cartoon.
No, especially like weekends and when you're coming from preschool, primary school, like that slot from 1 o'clock after the lunchtime news till around 4, 5 o'clock.
Fam, the number of times I nearly got run over because I would sprint home to get home in time to watch Spider-Man. And I would cross a major intersection.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And remember there was that slot where it was Sonic,
Oh my god.
then X-Men, then Spider-Man.
Dude, then they went into Visionaries, and then they went into
man.
then Spiral Zone.
Then Saber Ride and
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, okay.
Trust me, we'll get to that.
Let's do it.
But first, well, we touched on TV shows, but we want to talk about ZBC's own TV shows. I don't know if you guys remember any. Oh, jeez, I just remembered one. Studio 260.
Yeah,
remember that one.
2-6.
Another bit of random trivia for you. The daughter of the maid who lived behind us was on 263.
Wait, what?
I mean, do you hear the chain of connection?
No, that's what I'm saying. What?
The maid of the daughter of the
I
what?
can't even make it. So our next door neighbor's maid had a daughter.
Right.
She was in 263. I think like for 2 episodes or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it more like
not Pauline? Pauline.
What was Pauline's role in the thing?
I don't watch 263. No.
Too much on the fan. We watched 2-6.
But you know what? I watched it, but when I came into the UK, because they had a section whereby they had people who were supposedly gone into the UK, and then when they're showing the people from the UK had gone, then there's a dude who had a slick back and everything.
You get to the UK looking for people with slip
That was a compliment, bro. He out here looking for a guy in Brixton. The whole thing is. Do you know what I mean? 5 avenues, G. Do you know what I mean?
It was straight from the.
I never used to watch. It wasn't. I didn't not want to watch it. I just never watched it.
I used to love all the. It's interesting because I got into soaps quite weird enough. I don't know if it was like my sister. I used to watch it as a family thing.
Yeah, it was a family thing. Yeah.
So all the we used to watch the essays. So it's around 5 and 6.
Oh, like Generations.
Not even Generations was later on. Like we watched Bold and the Beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Dallas.
A little bit of Dallas. I did watch Dallas. I'm like
Santa Barbara. Come
on!
Wait, you think Santa
son.
Barbara, Sunset Beach?
But
Sunset Beach was our thing. The family.
The family. Yeah, Santa Barbara.
Fridays, right? Friday night.
I'm gonna take you back,
Yeah.
way back.
Oh, let's go.
I went to boarding school when I was Form 1. I was just been naughty all my life, right? So I went to boarding school.
Be someone else's problem.
That's the reason why they send you. Either the schools are amazing,
never had enough.
or it's like I just need a respite. This kid needs to.
Yeah, it was like for 3 months, bro.
And that's saying a lot when they actually have a maid at home, so they don't actually.
That spend time with you like that, but they still want you out the premises.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm here now.
Yeah.
So anyways,
So Santa Barbara. Yeah.
So one of the things we used to, when I went to boarding school, we would look forward to like it's all routine. It's kind of like jail, so it's all routine like that.
It was,
Yeah, it's like honestly, think about it.
Right, you eat at a certain time.
Yeah.
You have to be in bed at a certain
Lights
time.
Lights out, right?
Don't drop the soap.
Dude, it's like you've got like 6 o'clock, and then you have study time from 6:30 or whatever time.
Yeah.
Then after that, you could have like a window.
Like a period, yeah.
So you'd have up to 8. We used to have 2 study sessions. That's how crazy it was.
Yeah, 2?
We had 2. So our dinner was at like 5 or 6.
Oh,
like
2 in the evening.
Yeah.
Snap. We had one. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, 5:30. This is like the school I went to. So it was like 5:30 would be dinner. Or it'd be 5:30. Then it'd be up to 5 o'clock dinner.
Yeah.
5:30 would be when you finish.
Yeah.
And like 30-minute period to kind of chill out before you start doing prep.
Yeah.
And you'd all need to be in the study hall.
Yeah.
So 6 till 8. That's your study time.
Yeah.
Then you'd have to watch. Depending on what day it was. Friday you didn't have the.
Oh yeah.
Then you'd have another hour at like 9:30, 9 o'clock or something to about 10.
Y'all was serious.
Oh,
Y'all were
bro.
learning.
Learning.
And sleeping. Because you'd be there sleeping on your books, and then there'd be some guy walking in. If the teacher saw you sleeping, imagine you'd be walking around to them like, you can't force me to read.
I know, right? It's like 11 o'clock.
Our first prep was after lunch. So
that's bad.
So it was horrible. And I went to Plumtree. Now Plumtree in summer is basically the asshole of hell. It's like, it is the hottest place. Like I used to skip.
Because I went to Blow, I went to Elite.
I used to skip. I used to skip prep. I used to skip prep, and I was a prefect. I was meant to be monitoring prep,
but you didn't show.
This is how hot it got in my study, fam. I would nap during prep. I would take a vest and I would soak it, make it like dripping with water, and put it on my back, and it would be dry by the time sports started 2 hours later.
Yeah.
And I ironed. Fam.
Yeah, Santa Barbara.
Yeah, Santa Barbara.
Story right, yeah. So it's actually was Quaker High School. This was when I did my Form 1. Then I went to met up with the homie at West.
Yeah.
So when you're there, Santa Barbara was the thing that we all used to look forward to watching. So it was at 8 o'clock or something. Yeah. So the Friday one was the best one because you'd watch that, and then it'd be like a movie at the end, and then you didn't have to have anything else.
Right.
So there was this guy, A-level dudes and all this like the head boy. Bullies, bruv. I'm talking hella bullies.
Yeah.
So then, of course, and they know that you want to watch
Santa Barbara.
You're like a Form 1, that's what you live for, fam.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing.
Right? What are you? Yeah.
You know what was her name? You know the girls from Santa Barbara. Those are the only
exactly. I'm concerned about girls. She's like, I'm here to see Santa Barbara and go and kick football in the hallways.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not bothered. You guys going to go out and go to the club, do your thing.
Yeah.
So they knew that was all happening. So he basically starts like he punishes me. I don't know what I did or whatever. And he took me away from watching Santa Barbara.
Wow.
And he made me go into I think he made me just clean up his holes or something like that in his room. Just some hella slavery type stuff. And I'm just like, I hate that dude to this day.
Yeah.
Listen to this, bro.
I hope he is listening.
His cousin, his brother, or something. I think he was at PE.
But Makai's cousin.
I think he was his younger brother or something like that.
Oh,
right. One of the two. I remember because it was.
That's so good because Makai was dope.
Was he dope?
He was mad cool.
Did he stop you from going to watch Santa Barbara?
Never.
Just
to say, people, if you know these names, the Modding Ads blog is not responsible.
I am not.
I have disclaimed.
I did not have relations with Mr. Fish.
Yeah, we might say we were good friends, but this is the only time we meet.
We don't even know we're doing this.
Yeah, we couldn't get past the first part, so until today.
You just yeah. About the car.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, like, as you're saying, there was, like, Santa Barbara, Sunset Beach, Dallas, Beverly Hills, Melrose Place. So, we had all
Dynasty, was it Falcon Crest?
Yeah, Falcon Crest.
And Knots Landing. One of them was a spin-off of the other one. Couldn't tell you. I think Falcon Crest
was the spin-off of
Dallas.
Yeah.
No, or Dynasty.
Dynasty and Dallas were about the same era.
So one of them. One of them. Yeah,
I could Google it, but
but you know what's crazy about that? I was reading. There's a guy who actually did a beat, and he had the main guy from Dallas, the guy with the hat, was JR. Because they're still going in America. Do you know that? They've gone American, but they've rebooted it.
I
think it's on Netflix.
Patrick Duffy, I think.
Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Duffy is the
Patrick
guy.
Duffy.
Well, so he's like the
because he was Bobby Ewing.
Was it Bobby Ewing? Yeah.
Bobby Ewing is now.
So he's like the JR now.
He's still doing. I think because JR just passed away. So you got Patrick Duffy still doing it now, and it's like they've continued the whole thing. They got the guy who used to be in the like Real Housewives of thing. Oh my gosh, he's gone. Do you know like the film that used to have Eva Longoria and the ginger lady, the ginger redhead lady?
Desperate Housewives?
Desperate Housewives, yeah. Do you know the young guy who was in that one? Like, Eva Longoria's like love He's doing that one.
No way.
He's like the new JR kind.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. I might be lying about that. My phone's too fast.
Yeah,
but it's
fact checkers, please just shout
But anyway, so we had those, and you know the crazy thing is like when you start reading the reviews of these soaps, and then the people saying like how trash they are, but in a way.
What era are they talking about? That's. I think the thing is,
because like
they say it was. Did someone who write it and watch it at the time, or they're watching it now and going back at it?
They're probably now.
But soap's always been
they're always trash.
They've been trashy, but
not trash, but trashy.
They're trashy.
It's
an extension of reality.
I mean, obviously the storylines can go 180 at one point.
They go crazy.
Because I remember on Sunset Beach, I remember we were sitting as a family and then we're watching, I think one of the main characters dies. I don't know if the name Cole.
Cole, yes.
Cole,
I was about to say, wasn't it Cole?
Yeah, Cole, he dies and then, spoiler alert, I guess.
About 20 years
later. I think he comes back and then people were thinking that, wait, what's up with them? But it ended up being his twin brother or something like that.
Who spoke like him and did everything like him.
But it was
except slightly evil.
It's always it. Why is it gotta be evil though?
Yeah, always gotta be evil. That's why he has a mustache. You finally watch Logan.
I watched Logan.
Really? You know what? We'll speak after.
We'll talk about that.
That's the twin brother thing.
Yeah. So Knight Rider. That's
a segue into Knight Rider. Because my gosh,
man, one of probably the best shows we've.
You just can't drop that alley-oop like that, man.
Wait, I'm trying. Anyway, Knight Rider.
It started at Nighthawk and things.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what? I was thinking. Yeah, I think I should have started Nighthawk, but I was gonna say like Nighthawk in passing. Then we go into. But anyway,
I mean, it's funny to talk about Knight Rider because Nighthawk came after Knight Rider. But I think
was Nighthawk first?
Nah, I think it was around the same time.
Probably around the same time. And Airwolf as well.
But at the same time, don't forget we saw them when we saw them. Who's to say when?
I actually looked them up.
You should probably check out because Nighthawk looks older. Than Knight Rider does.
Yeah. Do you guys remember Airwolf?
Yes.
I don't remember Airwolf.
Yes.
Anyway, Knight Rider.
So Knight Rider. I don't want to do a review or anything like that of it, but I was just like in passing, just to say that it's one of the probably best shows. As I said, when it was like on, everybody was watching that. I mean, who would want to watch a show with a talking car? Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Street Walk, sorry, not Night.
Street Walk.
Yeah. Oh, Street Walk. And then
Street Walk was a motorcycle one, right?
Yeah, the motorcycle one. Yeah, and then this one, Bo. I saw you putting this on the Weekly Planet, the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates, Thunder in Paradise.
Do you remember Thunder in Paradise?
Yes, the one with Hulk.
It was basically Knight Rider on the water. Do you remember that? Do you know what? Do you remember the theme song?
Thunder in Paradise.
There's a hurricane blowing in over the water. Waiting in anticipation for the
Hey, not putting
action
soul
to
into
begin.
this.
No, that's how he sang it.
That's how I made him the first.
No,
Now
that's
you
how
see
he
what I'm getting from.
That's how he sang it.
No,
I'm
you
gonna
didn't
play
have
it
an
now.
act like that.
I'm gonna play it
You
for
didn't
you
sing like
right
you're singing
now.
someone's girl.
No,
You didn't-
I'm gonna
you didn't
play
sing
it
like
for
you're
you
singing
right
someone's
now.
girl. Why you gotta sing it like you're singing someone's girl,
Let me
bro?
play it for you right now.
Swinging
No.
in the water.
Wait.
I know, right?
No.
Auditioning for, come on, son.
I'm gonna play it for you. I'm gonna
saying?
play it for you right now. This was the theme song.
Yeah.
Here, this is the original theme. I think that was from season 2. Just chill.
Sounds like you should be in Lion King.
Probably so.
With the fake panpipes, right?
Yeah, I know.
And Speedboat is the
Terry Hulk Hogan. Listen to that. Listen to that.
But can I comment? Can I comment to that?
That's
How old was Hulk Hogan? Wasn't he like 60?
Wasn't Hulk Hogan 60 his entire career?
Have I forgotten about this? My God.
Listen to the passion in that.
But that was so 90s though, and like 80s, 90s.
Yeah, this is right 90s.
Yeah.
This is 92, 93.
Yeah.
There was harmonies and everything.
Oh, yo, the shit that the boat they used to try.
Yeah, that's it.
The
Yeah.
CGI was
Right.
horrible.
It was terrible.
Absolutely
I think it was
pathetic.
terrible for the 90s.
Yeah, it
Like,
was.
wasn't-
Mate, this is after Terminator. Let's put it like
Yes.
I need, oh my God, just the deja vu that just hit me watching that.
Remember, right?
Yes,
Remember
yes.
this.
We used to like, and they used to shoot at the boat and everything.
And then
inside
it
the
would
boat,
just
like,
ping, ping, ping.
you don't know, like, got missiles in here or something.
No, you're confusing that with another transforming vehicle, Viper.
No, not Viper. No, they used to shoot that with machine guns.
No,
as well
yeah,
on the boat.
but
Nah, I remember Viper.
Remember Viper where they were shooting and they were just like, you think after the first 2 or 3
Yeah, because you open up the car.
Yeah. Viper, my friend.
But I didn't really like Viper because I felt it was a spin-off or rip-off of Knight Rider.
I think everything that we watched, we
Everything
thought that
after
it
Knight
was.
Rider was-
And then,
I
it was like
watched
I
it and I
said,
enjoyed it, but it just never felt the same because the chemistry
Yeah.
between Kit and Michael Knight was not there between
Yeah.
that machine.
Yeah, well, that was the difference. Kit was alive, whereas
Yeah.
Viper was a tool. That's what it was. Like,
Yeah.
You
Kit had
caveman, man,
emotions.
you go out and
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
me
Yeah,
man go and
Viper
kill
was-
people in car. You know what I mean?
Viper was a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had others like Magna PI.
No, come on. Are we not going to talk about Knight Rider? Like, you're not giving Knight Rider the okay.
Okay, what would you want to say about Knight
I'm gonna
Rider?
throw Knight Rider and talk about how badass everything from the song, the intro. Where's the video so you can see the passion in my face? I'm talking about this. And then you got the
song is
intro.
epic if Busta Rhymes samples it.
Busta Rhymes,
mate.
Timbaland,
yeah.
Party,
hey,
and pork and beans. Because of what that means. It's drop back and the party just won't stop. Alright.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so the intro, and then the whole, like the Busta Rhymes, like remember the Busta Rhymes sort of track he has, and he has kids rapping back to him and everything. So the intro, then you have the different things that he had in Knight Rider, Super Pursuit mode and everything like that. You put that
Which
on
came later on. That was like
that was later on.
Yeah.
Turbo boost, bam.
Turbo.
To be able to jump off of it.
That's
The
what
car-
you waited for, man.
Even the fact that he used to come out, the car used to come from a semi-truck, bro.
Oh,
That
yeah, I
was the
remember
headquarters,
that.
and then you come
Motion.
on. Come on,
Man.
son, come through.
Geek
come
facts,
through.
they had to use they had to convert it to a manual transmission because you can't do that in automatic.
Thanks.
That's how much I
ruined
loved it.
somebody's life.
No,
just like-
I loved it so much.
Why can't
Random trivia.
I guess it makes sense why you can't do an automatic because of the gear transitions.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I loved it so much.
And,
Man.
then, and we won't. And we're not gonna go into the reboot, are we now?
Nah, no, don't
Yeah,
even.
Which reboot?
No,
It's a
no.
2008.
Wait, do you mean Team Knight Rider
No, the one later.
or the later
The later
one?
one.
Because both of them were god awful.
Imagine 14.
But the
But
latest
Knight
one,
Rider-
the
yeah.
one that came up. So do you remember Team Knight Rider?
I do not.
Nah,
Team
no.
Knight Rider. There were 5 vehicles. There were two bikes. There was a pickup truck. There was a Mustang, and there was a drop top. I can't remember what the drop top was. And they all had their own personalities. I remember the pickup truck was driven by a black dude. and the pickup truck was called Duke.
At least it wasn't like a Duke
and it had a deep voice.
Oh my god!
That's all I remember. Duke was from the. I think he had a southern twang. To be fair.
And the pickup truck.
A pickup truck.
A pickup.
And was from the south.
Well, and obviously
the working dude has to get the pickup truck. Hey, black man, you gonna put some hay in your pickup truck, bro?
Listen to this. So there was super pursuit mode, right?
Yeah.
So they all do a transformation thing. The two bikes would combine to form a car. A futuristic.
How was the
quote,
CGI
unquote.
with that?
The CGI was possibly as bad or on the same level as Thunder in Paradise. And this came out like 10 years after Thunder in Paradise. And then the 2008. Did you ever see any of the 2008?
No, I didn't even.
Where it was a Mustang.
Yeah.
I saw the trailers. I was just like, I don't know. I mean,
why are you trying to recreate this?
Like, no
one can be Daniel Hasselhoff, bro. Daniel Hasselhoff. You can't
Michael
be that.
Hasselhoff, yeah.
Michael.
Not even Michael, David. Because he's
Michael Knight.
Michael Hasselhoff Knight.
He was.
He was everything.
Dude, the leather jacket, bro. My dad used to have a leather jacket, my dude.
The tightest bell-bottom pants on any man I have ever seen.
You see that in the curls, I watched in the shirt with the hair coming out, always out there trying to shut up the girls in the medallion.
But there was a guy called Garth. Remember Garth, who
Yeah.
had no blood relation. He was Spanish,
I know
but
it's
looked
trash.
exactly
That's that. He was evil as hell, bro.
And he was evil, and he drove Goliath. Do you remember Goliath?
Oh, that's
the evil version of Kit.
No, that was an evil version of Kit. It was just a giant indestructible truck.
Oh, was
the
it?
The evil version of Kit was Car.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Do you remember Car?
You remember
K-R-R.
Oh my god. What is that for again?
I need to
You
Google
remember
it.
you telling
We
me
looked it
that.
up, yeah.
Wasn't it? Wait, do you know when they introduced Car? I don't know. Probably it was because I was a kid. Didn't they do like a feature length thing?
Yeah,
it was a.
No, they did a feature length face off basically. So
Yes,
like
I remember
that.
So Car, let me see. So Car was actually the prototype and
Of Kit.
voiced by Peter Cullen, the voice of
Optimus Prime.
You can't.
So Car,
Wow.
what did Car stand for?
What does KIT stand for as well?
Night Industries 2000.
Right. And
Car was.
I don't know, we have to drop in.
Man.
I just thought about it because
Yeah.
you're bringing me back in like that era. Because at the same time, do you remember David Carradine's Kung Fu?
Oh, of course. I think it might be before.
Do you know what? When I watched it here on UK TV, I was just like, why is this so familiar?
Yeah,
dude.
David
Like,
it used to
Carradine with
be-
that. It's okay. CAR stood for Night Automated Roving Robot.
So where is this? Is it K as in K?
No,
Yeah.
K. Yeah,
Oh,
K.
okay, I was gonna say.
So just like kids, K.
Yeah. So
AR.
they made it basically and still.
Yeah, and so that was a prototype, but he was programmed to be to have self-preservation above all else. So basically, he would
They
do
gave him
anything to
consciousness?
stay alive. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a prototype of Kit.
But he's got self-revelation, so means he's going to do anything to stay alive.
Yep,
essentially. Which is
including manipulating some of his human drivers to reach his.
this sounds like some.
And
Where
the
is Will Smith when you need him?
The only and the reason why he hated Kit so much was because Kit was the only thing that could destroy him.
Right.
Ah.
Let's cause about consciousness. Kid.
Yeah, they both. Yeah, Carl was.
Yeah, it was the
conscious.
same.
They both.
I love
is this
Bogart
like
and
a-
Adams the
Is this like
consciousness.
a what's his name? Ultron and what's his name?
Tony Stark. Yeah, basically.
Okay. Anyway. So we had we had like a bunch of comedies. I could only remember a few.
Wow. Mm-hmm,
The only ones I could, from the top of my head, anyways, was like Golden Girls, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and obviously Family Matters as well.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about that, guys, before we move on?
But do we have time?
Okay, so I asked my siblings back home.
Yeah.
And my brother sent me a comprehensive list.
Oh my god!
But like, I love my brother because he introduced me to literally everything
yeah,
that I
of
love
course.
right now. On his favorites list, Knight Rider. Remember Incredible Hulk?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes,
Lou
the
Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno one.
yeah, of course.
$6 Million Man.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And the main actor in $6 Million Man, Lee Majors. That's it. he was also the main guy in, remember Fall Guy?
Yes.
Oh my
Fall Guy,
word!
right?
I just love Fall Guy.
Oh,
yeah. Bionic
Oh my
Woman.
God.
Yeah, Bionic Woman.
And Fall Guy had a spin-off. Well, not a spin-off, but it was made by the same guy who made Hardcastle and McCormick.
Yes.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, I watched all that. Yeah.
So Street Hawk, Airwolf, Friday the 13th. Do you guys remember that?
Was it like
it was an anthology, like horror
No, I don't remember that.
show.
I watched something very similar to that where they had like it's almost like Goosebumps type thing.
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt.
That's also on the list.
Yeah.
MacGyver.
Yeah.
That's the one I was trying to remember. It's like I'm
MacGyver.
forgetting something.
Yeah.
Who are you? How does it matter? Look at his house. We could make
You
something
are
to
literally
teleport.
MacGyver.
Honestly, how people give us he's got like a PA there. He's just sitting there with an amp at the bottom.
Remember that monitor that's behind you?
Yeah.
So
How do you not know
Lance has got a computer
Dude, I
monitor.
was just like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, I'm sort of forgetting someone.
Dallas, obviously, Falcon Crest, Carson's Law. Do you guys remember that?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
very vaguely. Cagney and Lacey.
What's
They
it on?
were lady detectives, basically.
Yeah, I know.
And they ran the show.
I didn't know there was
There's
on
something about
ZBC.
one of the ladies
Yeah.
who's very familiar, I think actually.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name
I can
is.
see
but
I can see
there
her.
was a
yeah.
blonde woman and a
brunette
with
woman.
short hair.
Yes.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so on his funniest, he had different strokes,
Yeah.
which I barely remember.
Yeah,
but
I
used
think
to
it was-
watch with this.
There's a slightly, it's like that's one of those like American films. That's almost like Good Times kind of era.
Yeah.
So we would have got it. Maybe we wouldn't be
Later.
watching it if it was watching.
So,
Good Times.
my older siblings used to watch that, so I used to watch it with them. So I have vague
Big
memories of that.
yeah.
Family Matters, of course, Good Times,
Yeah. Good
Uh,
Times.
and weird. So that was a list of his favorites and the funniest ones, and the list of his weirdest ones. Santa Barbara. That's it.
That was his famous one.
Do you guys remember there was a vampire episode of Santa Barbara?
What?
Do you guys remember?
Was it like a Halloween
Was
episode or something?
Yeah, it was a Halloween
Must have
episode.
been,
So
yeah.
and then it ended up being a dream. But I remember
Obviously,
that.
everything in
That's
those
just
things ended
escape.
up being a
Yeah.
treat.
It's just been escaped.
And then my sister threw in "Are You Being Served?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Allo Allo.
I used to watch
Of
all that.
course, Allo Allo.
Yeah.
Like I watched that in boarding school.
Do you know what,
Seriously.
Do you know-
bro?
Yeah.
Send a message to them to tell them thank you because
Yeah.
we're filling in gaps.
That
But
you
do
already
you
needed,
guys
yeah.
actually realize the genius of Allo Allo?
Absolutely.
Because I only figured that out when I got
all of
when I was much older.
Go for it.
Wow,
I think I'm
Just with the specifically the English
French and the German.
the English policeman trying to speak
Oh
French.
yeah, crabtree.
And you be like good moaning and
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
But what I figured out when I was older was like they're all speaking in their languages. We're just hearing it as English. So
Yeah.
when one person is speaking
Yeah.
another language
It's
with
something
their
like-
accent, and I was
It's
like,
all, yeah, because
wow.
But it was
crabtree was how a French person from outside of France would sound like
Yeah.
in English.
well, not a French is how what an English person speaking French.
Oh yeah, French would sound like in
Yeah.
France.
yeah.
Mate, it was,
It was such a genius show.
Yeah,
This-
I
this-
also found that out. I was like, wow, that's
The levels are much deeper. I mean, the action thing is incredible. The action thing is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. On a historical point of view, it plays a really interesting point because France was occupied by the Germans.
Yeah.
The British were obviously trying to help the French
Yeah,
get
French
liberation. There
help,
was the rebellion. Obviously, had
Yeah.
the whole people that were coming in, like what were they called? The opposition. It was like a French opposition that was invested
Yeah.
in. So I forgot what the name was. And they were there, and that's
The
where
Gestapo.
not Gestapo.
No,
was
that's
the
not
German
German.
side.
Oh,
German
you know the
police.
French.
I forgot they was like basically
well, no,
like
just
a
called the
rebellion.
resistance.
Oh, the
Yeah.
resistance,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, yeah.
So you had them. So you had all the little faction between like the British guys who were acting and working with the French.
Yeah.
And then you also had the German side. You had Heflik. Then you
Yeah.
had
Oh man.
all the levels on that for me. I remember watching, and then the
And then the
differences.
girl with the blonde hair with the
Yeah, exactly. That was
Yeah.
Helga.
Yeah,
That was
Helga, yeah,
Helga was a
yeah,
typical
yeah.
German, you know.
German Frau.
Exactly. She was, you know, was like Heflik, what's it?
Yeah.
You know, and then Heflik would walk in and
Yeah.
everything.
I remember.
Yeah, and then like his Netflix little
his
thing.
henchman.
His
What
little
was his
henchman.
name?
I forgot his name.
Who
yeah.
remind Heflik and his henchmen reminded me of Victor and Hugo.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it was.
Right.
Awesome cartoon.
Oh.
Thank you ZBC.
But,
Yeah.
So then you had that, but then you had The Italian guy was one of my favorite ones. Like, hi Hitler, hi Mussolini.
Everybody used to be like, what the hell, dude?
And then you'd have what's his name? The main dude. He passed away a couple of years ago. There was an amazing really. I remember reading about them after, and it was reading about they were all really good British actors. And Academy kind of.
The pretty classically trained kind of.
So the guy who was what was his name?
Rene.
Sorry, Rene.
The old Rene.
So Rene would have affairs with all, like he'd be with his wife.
All the girls in
any woman on screen, Rene.
But it was mostly like those two chicks, and then you ended up being a chick. Like it ended up being like the British spy.
Yeah, the British spy. Yeah. But even there was a point where Helga, him and Helga and Rene had a little.
Surprised. I
wouldn't be.
And it's just like wow, he's like. Wow, like this
and then obviously his twin brother's wife who's still think that it's his wife, but he's like no.
They really did a good job, and his wife was so like ghastly in that way. He's like, what do I need to do? Then there's all the stories about that. There was this whole series about the Mona Lisa with the big boobies.
Yeah.
Right? We've taken the Mona Lisa with
the Madonna with
the big boobies. Sorry, the Madonna with the big boobies. And like this thing, who stole Madonna? Man. Dude, the levels on that was so much, and then it goes back into the wall. So that's when, and we're watching this stuff, and we're like, what, 90s? We're watching stuff like pretty much made in the 70s, 60s, and 70s and stuff.
And then even the character of the guy who liked the Renee's wife. My ticket together.
It was the Undertaker. No, it was the Undertaker. And then remember that guy with the worst disguise, but like it's
just me. He's like, and everybody's like, we know who you are.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we. And he used to have some weird escape plans. And then obviously the chick who's like, I shall say this. Listen very carefully. I shall say this only once.
Yeah, she was a British spy.
She was a French spy, but she spoke English.
No, she was the one who did both this. She was an English spy who spoke French. So she was like, she's like, careful, I shouldn't say this only once. And then when the British comes, hello chaps, sure, right?
And then the two British airmen with
exactly. So there's someone she's hiding the airmen in the mother's bed.
Exactly. And then the mother's having her own little thing with some other dude. Oh man,
the levels and I think.
No, she was having a thing with Leclerc, wasn't she?
She was.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, no. I think she used to hide it before.
Yeah, she was hiding it.
And then they were like, and then every time he walked in, he was like.
They were just doing it every time they met. He was like 80 or something.
Yeah, I know. So it was, as you said, it was very genius, even for the time. Even if you watch it now.
But I think that's a privilege that we have, in all honesty, because I think the exposure that we were given very early on, we didn't understand the significance and the symbolism of watching, World War II, post World War II German. Or watching things like Are You Being Served? Because I watched a lot of that stuff in boarding school.
So watching it used to come on like around 10, 11.
Exactly. Because the thing is, like, TV would just be boring, and like that mental occupation just has to be there with like TV like that. So the levels of, because this is like when you have like the gay renaissance in the 70s and the 80s and 80s. So you'd have Mr. Peacock was a very distinctive character.
Are you free? I'm free.
He looks around.
He was hilarious, dude.
Yeah, he had the best one-liners in that
easily.
show.
Innuendo galore, bro.
Do you think that was innuendo? How about Mrs. Slocum? We used to talk about a cat,
and
she used to confuse it.
Like, oh, my pussy's been so lonely. Like, oh man, I don't know how my parents let me watch that.
I don't even know how we got away.
Oh man, that's why we're talking about censorship.
True.
But I guess from our point of view at that time, probably our parents thought it was just a cat. Because she was talking about.
But I think it's also it's a double-edged sword, because I'm sure.
No, I think that's why they could get away with it.
I think some of our parents knew it wasn't a cat, but if they say something, they acknowledge that they know it. So if that's why they could get past censors, because if censors were like, oh, we can't use that, I'm like, wow, she's an old lady who's got a cat at home, and that's what she.
Then you start asking. It's the same thing like now with innuendo when you watch kids with your films with your own kids. Like you can pick up that one line. But if you stop, like, don't watch that. It's like why?
Why?
You have to explain the innuendo. Exactly.
Yeah, but no, thank you, your brother and sister, for those. That's absolutely amazing.
I mean, they brought me back like
memories. Dude, I was feeling a bit homesick when I was going through this. Because I was like, man,
I'm looking at all these.
I don't look at it that much, honestly, because I remember I watched a lot of TV, as we all did like that.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I was going to say we probably can have a little moment for cartoons and stuff.
Yeah,
that
we
could
get
be
to
an
that. Go on,
yeah.
But that's what, like, even like why I created the group when we sort of started as Spiral Zone.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because that was, I mean,
I was going to change it back, by the way. That was just the brain trust.
You need to change it.
It was just a joke.
He took over like, I don't understand. I don't want to have Overlord as the emoji there. Cool. But you gotta change it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it
just for our one listener, in case you want to keep up. Bo just all of a sudden changed the name of our WhatsApp group out of nowhere without consulting the other 2 members of the group. And so we've been miffed ever since.
But none of y'all changed it. That's fine.
I respect to you, which is ironic that you have respect to me or Lance to say, hey y'all, I'm about to change the group in the Bentos because we love Scrubs. We cool with it.
I mean, at least it was Scrubs. I think Scrubs was not on the same level. Was acceptable.
No, it's not.
At least it wasn't
acceptable. I didn't say on the same level.
No, I love Scrubs. No, dude. Yeah. We know Scrubs is our life.
At least it wasn't like a halfway across the galaxy and turn left appreciation.
Yeah, I used to love that show.
Yeah,
man,
I love that show.
How crazy was that show?
Like Run the Twist, all that stuff, and it's like, man, love that.
So I was the podcast that Lance and I listen to called The Weekly Planet. It's an Australian. These 2 Australian guys, and I was chatting to one of them on Twitter. I'm like, why do we have so many of your cartoons? And he was like, what do you mean? And I just gave him a list, and he was like, I don't know, some of these I've never heard.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Serious.
Like, remember that purple dinosaur shaped widget? Yeah. He was just like, what? I didn't know that was an Australian thing.
Was it Australian?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains it.
Widget
was a purple shape-shifting.
What's it called?
I'm going with Rain Man on this one. Shape-shifting alien, and it was all about it was at the same time. I think it was the same people who did Captain Planet. So it was all about the.
Oh snap!
Yeah. It was about.
I thought it was American.
Yeah, so
that's what I thought.
I think. No, it wasn't Widget that I was talking to him about. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what cartoon was it? Do you remember Bright Spots with Sparky?
No.
No.
Widget. Yeah, Widget. I think it was probably their environmental conscious kind of thing, like Captain Planet was. But you know,
can I just the World Watcher? That's the name.
Could I just say something about how much effort went into whatever propaganda was at that time?
Oh yeah.
If it was to sell us stuff, people used to go all in, like G.I. Joe or Transformers. Like people used to go all in. Like even Widget or Captain Planet. We used to enjoy the cartoons, even though they had a message. Even Sonic used to have a message.
Education
at the end. But I'm just like thinking, like how much effort they still went in. Even if you go into the theme songs and stuff, even though the writing can be questionable, but the animation and music and so on and so forth, I was just like,
they don't make theme songs like they used to.
No,
it's very rare.
I'm gonna go one further.
Okay, go on.
And say, imagine on that respect of appreciating the music, the direction, the sound, all of the credits within that, and then composing them and making them from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And being the actual director or being the producer in Zimbabwe who identifies. Because it's not a case of you just so happen to, what are you guys going to sell? I understand that also to an extent. But it's also like a creative director. It's a creative director.
Yeah.
Your essence is to create a feel and an atmosphere as a whole.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I can imagine you're looking at the shows and then you click on, what's this one? And then all of a sudden you hear Conan, the Adventurer.
Because the sequence of all that, because it's almost like on a DJ perspective, you also understand how I'm going to put something before and after and what emotion am I going to transmit as you go across that. So you're going to have all of those levels. So us as kids, we also have, it almost like
visionaries, not magical. Do that the choir for the anyway.
but just think about the emotion. Because you can go and like semi-digress how amazing Visionaries was. And Bob is going to talk about the show in greater detail. But if you talk about Visionaries, what you call it, Spiral Zone, Saber Rider, what was the other, Brave Star, and you talk about all those films and how what they emotively did to you, right? And even before that, you talk about what they did prior. You watch things like Moomins. You talk about what was the other one that they had? The one where you had like in the trees with the little squirrel, like the house people.
The raccoons.
No, was it raccoons or
raccoons? Is it? I think
the one that had the awesome theme tune as
Gummy Bears. I remember.
The raccoons that had Cyril Sneer.
No, there was one that they did. I hope I'm not confusing with Gummy Bears. There's one that these three people was kind of like that animation was almost like Movements, kind of, but essentially so because Movement was trippy, right?
Oh yeah.
So you'd have the trippy movements and you'd have the other one like that, but that was very intentional, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Right. So imagine being the creative director in Zimbabwe in the 80s, 90s, making that. Because you watch that initially, then you'll know what you're going to transmit. I don't believe that it's like imagine as a DJ, you're just going to play whatever song.
Oh no, no, yeah. It's obviously it's not a mistake. There's things behind intent.
So I have a lot more respect towards that because it's also knowing what are you trying to invoke emotionally towards.
Oh yeah, of course.
Then that's what you then seek out for. To say we're going to buy this, we're going to try and get that. Even they say we're going to give you whatever, you still have to make up that experience. To
because like for some of the things, we will never remember all the episodes. But the theme songs, we will always, or even as a kid, remember when the TV used to be on and you play it outside and you hear a theme song? You were running and sitting in front of the TV.
Wow, and that's such a trip. Like thinking about like my kids. Like there's certain cartoons that she's really into, and she can be like on the other side of the flat, and as soon as you just hear stop, as she runs into sing, and she'll be there dancing, looking at it, trying to sing along to it, and then she'll go back to whatever she was doing.
Yeah,
nice.
No, but that's basically it. But before we move on to cartoons, I need to go back, and you were still talking about. Like when you spoke to the guy on Twitter and you were talking about obscure.
Yeah.
Remember Skippy the Bush Kangaroo?
Yep. The animated and the live action version.
There was an animated.
We had the animated one
live action.
I didn't remember that animated. I remember the live action.
Yeah, I remember
There was a. No, actually, this is a disclaimer. What I wanted to say to you guys was, there's a lot of cartoons that I remember that I've now realized were from, because my parents were part of this, there was a video club.
Right.
Basically before Blockbuster was a thing.
Oh, okay.
There was this old...
Was Blockbuster anything?
No, I mean like before stuff like Blockbuster. Yeah. There was this old couple that owned this, and it was called the Video Club. And it was just tons and tons of videos. You come in, you pay, whatever.
Yeah, of course.
It was in Greendale.
Because we had we had one in Strathaven, which we used to have.
But what I realized was there's a lot of cartoons that I remember from my childhood
that you watched out there.
that I watched on there. And I also realized those people broke so many copyright laws in the world. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
because the video cassettes were just ones that you buy to record at home. And this is do you want to know how I can confirm that they were breaking the law? There were TV adverts from the TV shows from wherever they recorded it from. So they must have had like nieces and nephews, or maybe even kids who lived in the US and in the UK. Because there are a lot of adverts that I remember from the 70s. It's UK adverts that when I talk to people about here, they're like, "Oh, did they have that back home?" And I'm like, I think so. Because I remember the Weetabix advert from the 70s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it was on one of the
videotapes.
Because have you guys ever watched Action Force? See, this is the thing. So Action Force.
I bet you there's an 80-year-old right now. Yes, I remember Action Force.
Action Force was G.I. Joe expanded. So it was basically the international.
Jeez.
So with the G.I. Joe TV
How
show.
racist was that?
What? No. The G.I. Joe, right? The G.I. Joe theme.
Right.
The G.I. Joe theme was like real American heroes. But Action Force was an international hero. And every person in the squad was from a different country. The leader was a British dude. There was one American guy. There was an Indian guy, if I remember.
Did they give him a stereotypical Indian accent as well?
Oh yeah.
Really?
The British dude was super posh. The American was from California. The Indian dude was Apu from.
Was he the mystic of the group?
Yeah.
So he was
the mystic of the group.
Oh man! They gave him some kind of oh man!
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
Definitely. And obviously, but as kids, you're like, yeah, that's exactly.
The main was like the Raj of the show, basically.
Yeah.
Damn, son.
But it was so interesting because I was watching that, and then I saw the adverts for the Action Force toys because now they were trying to get G.I. Joe out of America, but G.I. Joe is an American term,
Yeah.
so British kids aren't going to know that.
Yeah.
But then they're going to recognize.
Well, Action Man, is that the one that they made toys of? Is that where that comes from?
Yeah. So G.I.
Right.
Joe was a toy company. It was a toy company before the TV show.
Yeah.
I got you, right.
Same with
Just like
So Action Man,
Transformers.
because I've seen Action Man. I've seen Action Man
Yeah,
toys.
Action Man was
Was a toy
British,
first,
was
yeah.
strictly British.
I think he had a
Right.
different name. before it
Because it's the
was
same thing
called
with
Action Man.
Thunderbirds and stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
but
Those puppets freaked me out though.
Yeah.
really,
The Thunderbirds.
I love them though.
it's the same thing.
I was probably very young when they
Team America in the World Police. That's the same thing.
But yeah. So do I have anything I need to? Yeah. No. Anyway, like let's go full on now in cartoons.
Let's do it.
Let's go full in. So I did. This is how much I love cartoons that I was fun. I actually did a top 10. Was it top 10? Oh no, I just did like it was the early days of YouTube, and I was like, let me put something that like just cartoon themes that I liked. So anyway, but before that, or was it after? I had like I had an album, a photo album. If you go down far enough on my,
I remember that.
I had
on
like
Facebook,
all
right?
the cartoons that I watched,
Yeah.
and when I was doing that, that's when I realized that man, I watched a lot of cartoons.
Yeah.
But then again, I can't, like as you said with the videotape, I can't remember if these were ZBC TV or if there was like Joy TV or something.
Yeah.
So, but I managed to say a few now. If you guys want to add on or
I already
speak
know
about
what song
one.
already.
Oh, man.
I already know what song. Bet Money from Joy TV, South Sudanese.
Samurai X.
Samurai Pizza guys.
Oh yeah,
But that was ZBC.
That was
ZBC, fam.
It was ABC.
Was it Joy TV?
No, that was
It was
ZBC.
way before Samurai Pizza
Yeah,
Guys was way
man.
before.
I
What was the
remember-
one that they did on Joy TV that was similar to that then? There was something, and then there was like
Sam and Max used to be on Joey TV.
Oh yeah.
there was like the
Samurai
French
X.
one as well. That is
Yes. Oh, what was the French one? I can't.
Is it going up on the French police?
man.
Is that-
Yeah.
The French police.
Oh,
the
I
TikTok
I can't remember.
Yeah.
And they also had Joy TV had Godzilla, the animated series. Have you guys ever watched that?
Wasn't that ZBC?
It's
What one?
It was on Joy TV.
Katsuki.
No,
that one.
not that one.
Godzilla. That one had everything.
That was on ZBC.
Yeah, alright.
But then there was Godzilla based on the 1997 movie.
Oh
Right,
my
right.
god.
And like, so if you remember the 1997 movie, spoiler alert, one of Godzilla's eggs survives.
Mm.
So that grows up and ends up having a telepathic link with a human for cartoon reasons.
Oh right.
And
right.
so he could communicate with it, and every week
right,
was
right.
there was a monster of the week, and so you'd have
we
to
would
like
fight and
Godzilla, you gotta
Standard sounds like
Okay.
some.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go into Joy TV in a bit.
yeah
But yeah.
but
This is some of
ZBC,
yeah. Well, we had like, anyways, we mentioned some of these:
Yeah.
Braveheart, Voltron,
Yeah.
Movements, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
Visionaries.
I followed an Instagram page on Teenage Mutant Ninja
Really?
Turtles,
For
man.
real?
It's like one of the guys they actually had the other day saying, so I'm saying like die-hard Ninja Turtles fan until this recent time.
Yeah.
I just stopped messing with it.
Mm.
But at the time,
yeah,
you will never find a bigger Ninja Turtles fan than me.
yeah.
And
I had
you know,
everything.
who was
from,
your favorite?
You know what's interesting? Because everyone used to love like Michelangelo. Raphael was my favorite.
Raphael.
That
With
makes
the size.
so much sense. That makes so much sense. You are literally Raphael.
Yeah.
Easy
Yeah.
with the size and
Yeah.
just
If Raphael was black, you'd be a Black Panther. Like, that's why you are Raphael. That's why you love. That's why you love Raphael.
Yeah.
I never thought
Yeah.
about
Like
it.
real
He's my
talk.
spirit animal.
What's his spirit
Well,
animal?
do you know,
Raphael.
I think I shared this with you. I think one of the things that blew my mind when I found that out afterwards, I was like, Uncle Phil was moonlighting as Shredder
Yeah.
on the Teenage Mutant Ninja. Yeah, he was the
Uncle
voice
Phil
of
was the
Shredder.
voice of Shredder.
I did not know that.
Seriously?
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
man.
was the. If you listen to it back again, and if you listen to when he's shouting at Will,
Yeah.
and you can hear the like he's written like
Yeah.
Shredder
Oh, yeah.
levels
Yeah.
now. But which so anyway,
Ninja Turtles. We're good. I haven't
no,
finished.
yeah, no, wait. Let me say this first before. And I was
Better
like,
Ninja Turtles related.
why? So I was thinking, why do we complain about culture appropriation when a black person is played an Asian dude in TMNT?
I'll tell you why it's slightly different. I mean, I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be out there and justify it, right? Because it's an interesting one because
Yeah.
Chappelle played on it on the racial draft.
Oh,
Yeah,
The
yeah,
racial draft thing
yeah,
of
yeah.
basically like how you get some cultures and you know,
yeah.
just Tiger Woods green then taken by
Wu-Tang.
yeah, but exactly
Yeah.
it's the Wu-Tang element of thing you have because you have black people appreciating the Chinese customs
Yeah.
and everything. But I think that it comes down to it's not a defense because I think America is a great way of kind of showing that even like us in England because we have There's a large Asian community, but there's also Black, Caribbean, African communities, and we all have something in common. Colonization.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, that's just fact.
That's true.
And one of those, that's what really binds people within that, because you all have quote unquote one common enemy. You all have that. So when someone then says, like martial arts and kung fu, for example, or Wu-Tang, when I grew up, I wanted to do martial arts. We all wanted to do martial arts. Like hardcore, we all did.
Snake and Eagle Shadow.
Do you know what I'm saying?
All day.
The moment,
Drunken Master too.
that's why hip hop and Chinese movies are so intimate. Do you know what I mean? Because it's almost like it's almost like it arms you. Even like that's what creates jailhouse rock. There's a guy who actually really big into like African martial arts, talking about jailhouse rock, and the inspiration from Chinese films, which comes back to the Black community's appreciation, as a quote unquote, even call it appropriation for Chinese martial arts. But it's also the appreciation of that, and then catching the essence. There's an essence that we both
and they
share.
gave us orange chicken.
And well, at least
they do badass orange chicken.
well, like say, like at least he wasn't doing it in a
at least he wasn't in yellow face.
Because I think this is the difference. If you want to then kind of put it into a white perspective, one of the key things you find oppressively, Godfrey had an interview. Godfrey is this comedian who does Nigerian comedian who lives in America, and he had a thing talking about why Black people and Indian people, ethnic race, are not good at making racist offensive words for other people, particularly white people.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Right? And in comparison to white people making really offensive jokes and so forth to everyone else, from Asian people to Arab people.
They've got a word.
They've got
a word for everybody.
And almost slightly ingenious.
It's like targeted. It's like it's not even like just a broad sense.
It's like
when you hear it, you know exactly the type of person they're talking, because it's a characteristic, but it's been made to seem like.
If I say a sun N-word, like a sand N-word to you, who do you think of?
So Arab Emirates, basically.
Arab, because it's like he's black, kind of, but he's hair. He's
and
from
then
Arabs.
he comes from the desert.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So he becomes a sand N-word.
Do you know what I mean? And that's like, those are the type of things where like, there's a lot more, it's almost like there's a lot more thought, but there's a lot more malice
of course,
in that. Which is
because
really
it'll break you down and like,
which is interesting, because that's why in the same sense, because you know how that malice feels, you're not going to invoke that in the same way, because you're reciprocating that way. So anyway.
Sorry, you were going to say about TMNT.
Right. Yes. And what did you have from TNMT?
They used to have ice creams with stickers in it.
You had those.
Oh my god!
Man.
Oh, dude. Oh.
I was hot. I had ice cream with the stickers. I used to stick them around. I remember I was about 8 or something. We used to get them because I used to live in town. We used to live in the avenues before we moved.
Oh yeah, you guys had all the ice creams all day.
So I was all day, bro. Like the park. I was in the park all day. So we eating the ice creams, they had stickers, and I would stick all those things. There were the different ones. The blue one was like the minty kind of one. They had all the different versions. Then I got into the toys, because one of my I used to live with this Jewish kid. There was a Jewish kid who used to live in our flat called Levi. Pops, hooked him up.
Wait, his name was Levi?
Come on, yes.
Wow,
hella cool. He was like my best friend when growing up. And we used to have all these toys and stuff. We used to play Ninja Turtle toys and everything. Then the video game. Then the video
Oh
game.
my days.
I actually have it on an emulator to this day.
Wow.
I play it on the emulator. Absolutely. It's like a platform. One of those like Street Fighter kind of, Punisher kind of, Streets of Rage kind of movie.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Down. It's
I used
one
to
of the
spend
best
so
games
much money of it at
Big Bite.
Yeah, Big Bite and the one in Waterworld.
Yeah.
Waterworld.
Oh yeah, the Waterworld. Yeah. I used to still.
Do you know when you're talking about like the stickers? I was such a fan. I had the kicks. I had the Ninja Turtle shoes.
Nice.
Nice. Man, I love it.
There's a thing on Netflix. There's a series, like documentary on Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
The history and knowledge of it. And
Really?
it's like a trip to my childhood. And honestly, when you're watching it, because they tap into the original one,
Have you read
and I didn't expect it.
Have you read any of the comics?
I haven't read any of the comics.
Man.
No.
The original comic.
Look, some of the original and some of the new IDW
I'm not feeling this new stuff though.
What the movies?
I actually haven't watched the.
No, don't worry about the movies.
Don't worry.
But no, the comic books. If you read some of the older stuff, like when it first came out, because it started as a comic.
It did. Exactly. I watched it.
And so and now the newer stuff in IDW, like it's almost like they just literally just picked up.
But even the CGI, I'm not feeling the whole recreation and redesign of their characters. It's kind of Transformerish.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
The way that they've kind of gone is kind of Transformer and trying to tap into that.
I think
And they take away the cartoony, graphical, inspirational way of drawing it.
But as I said, like...
Because it's like...
The thing is, the cartoon actually watered down what the designs were. So some of the newer CGI...
Because you have to animate that
closer to what was in the comic.
I see, right, interesting.
But they overdid it, obviously. But like the newer stuff is kind of a perfect blend of that. It's still kind of got the cartoony vibe, but it's got there's more personality. It's not just the color of their headband that sets them apart. Like so, because Raph was the brash, loud.
But I can see you got Donatello's like the geeky side. He's got extensions to his thing. He's got like some kind of robotic type. I'm not reading that. That's from the movies. Yeah, that's from the movies. But in the comics, I think he's still kind of got glasses. You know what? It messes with my legacy. It messes with my childhood. And if you mess with my childhood, I'm coming for you.
I get where you're coming from.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I really don't like recreations things like.
You might not like even the OG comics then, because they were a lot darker than the cartoons.
I think in some respects
R-rated or something like that.
Yeah, I would love that if they're in that sense. But I think because there's a thing I saw in Ninja Turtles. And
if they use
their weapons. Oh my gosh!
This is so much. They just stop crying and they killed everyone. And you guys are going to jail. You've killed like 7 people.
Man. Oh well. But anyway, so guys, I need a quick toilet break. But I'll leave you with this one. You guys can discuss C.O.P.S in Spiral Zone. I'll be gone.
C.O.P.S.
C.O.P.S.
I'll be back.
COVID. What is it? COVID Operation something. I'm like, why couldn't he just be C.O.P.S?
Oh my gosh, C.O.P.S, bro.
C.O.P.S cartoon animated series. That's it. What did it used to stand for? Blah blah blah. Crimes of fighting crime in the future time.
I used to love that show so much,
man.
How did you remember that? Jeez,
dude.
You know that the thing is about this, like when you start. Oh my gosh,
Central Organization of Police Specialists. That's what it was called. Man,
I watched a little bit of it. I didn't actually watch as much, but I remember. Yeah. Actually, do you know what? I am lying. I watched a lot of it. I watched a lot of it. And the reason why? The guy, there was this dude who had the white helmet and like the little thing, like what was his name? The pilot dude. I used to love his ship so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much.
What was his name? Was he Mace? Sergeant who?
Oh my gosh, Mace?
No, it wasn't Mace. It was because there was dudes like there was Highway. He was the highway cop. Mirage. He was
oh my gosh, dude, the names.
And then the lead cop was.
I forgot this was. I forgot this was what it was. I used to always remember the names in my head, like Mirage, Highway.
Yeah, the helicopter pilot was Bullseye. Yeah, Bullseye. Mainframe, the computer.
Mainframe, They actually introduced them as the names, didn't they? Like Mainframe, Mirage, and all that stuff.
And the leader was. What's his name?
Why would you do that?
Bulletproof. So the leader's nickname was Bulletproof. His full name was Baldwin P. Vess. Bulletproof Vess.
Oh yeah, the lead was the black dude, wasn't he?
I used to love that.
I think my favorite was Blitz and he had his dog.
Oh yes!
I said Bill. I can't remember what was
Bowser. His
name was Blitz,
the dog was Blitz.
And even the enemies were just as bad as not as bad as just inventive as.
I need to
I'm
find
tripping out here,
dude.
Oh my god! And then my gosh, do you know? Okay, I'll tell you the story after this. This is how deep I was into this cartoon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my suppressed childhood is coming out.
Guess what the syndicate was called?
What?
Crooks.
Are you serious?
The crime syndicate. But there's no acronym for it. It was just crooks.
Oh yeah. Probably the way they couldn't. After all that, would you think of a bad name? After thinking about all those characters they invented, you've never seen
Brandon Babel, aka Big Boss.
And there was the kingpin kind of dude.
Yeah, and he had a Pep's weasel called Scratch.
How about the women? There's a lady.
Miss Demeanor.
Miss Diaz, I love that name, man. Miss Demeanor.
Yep. Nightshade.
Which was Nightshade?
She was Rafaela Diamond. Was born in a rich family. She ended up disowned when she turned to crime, stealing expensive and exotic jewelry for the thrill of it, not for financial means.
She's a kleptomaniac.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what she did. She robbed the places.
Yep.
Man.
And there was a guy called Squeaky Clean.
You know what this does to me? Okay, I'll tell you a story of how deep I was into, like, I was very creative as a kid. Like, I would get toys.
What? Well, sorry. I'll let you get into that. The voice of the leader, what's his name? Bulletproof, was Len Carson, an old white man.
So what we were?
Why are you surprised? No, you need to stop being surprised.
Because he was talking about cultural appropriation with Uncle Phil being shredded.
No, I don't even know why you threw that in there. Like,
I'm just saying that the irony is
no,
hilarious.
there's no irony. It's a cartoon in the 80s that we use talking black. Do you think it's going to give us a black voice as well? No.
Fair enough.
No, we need to stop
But
this.
there was a black voice actor.
Yeah.
Why did they make it him?
Why are you surprised?
So wait. So the black lead was played by the white dude,
guy.
and then the other dude was played.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, this levels of ignorance is upsetting me here. You're surprised that the white guy played the black dude's voice in the thing in the
I'm not surprised. It's the
1990s?
way that they're working on the same show. So why don't you just?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, anyway.
You what?
But I
You
guess
were
the
saying-
white dude had the better voice for the black.
better voice. the better voice, quote unquote. Go on. What's your story? You were
I don't want to talk about it. I'm offended that
We made him so hype and
naivety.
trashed his dreams.
Yeah, no, but I'm not trash about it. I know this. But at the same time, this is how I can differentiate that. Yes, as a kid, you're watching this and you're just romanticized by it. But at the same time, as you grow old, you can start looking into the deeper context of it.
yeah.
So at the same time, I'm not going to sit there like, oh, wow. They did not. Nah, son. Yes, they did that. They did that, of course.
Oh man.
You know?
But anyway, I don't know if you guys got any other cartoons you wanna remember.
I mean, I want to talk about so many.
Do you know what?
I love the Spider-Man. The
90s.
Yeah, the 90s.
90s.
Like Spider-Man series.
Man.
I watched a couple of episodes and I was just like, yo, like, this is not terrible. Like, you know, some of the stuff that we really loved as kids, when you go back and watch it, like, ugh.
Do you know what? Speaking of, there's an episode that I recently watched, and one I didn't get as a kid. It was when Spider-Man was talking to this girl who's in what was it? It was they showed it as an orphanage. So he's talking to her because he's debating about whether to be a hero or not. This is like probably season 4 or something like that. So he's talking to this girl, and then this girl encourages him in the end and says like, you know what? You carry on doing Spider-Man. I believe in you, you know, that whole speech and stuff. And then he was like, afterwards, he's like, you know what, I feel better. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to carry on being Spider-Man. And as he swings away, you realize that it was not a home. She was in a hospital and she was dying of cancer.
Dang.
And I was just like, oh.
Real deep, real.
I watched that. I just watched that recently. I was like, oh, how did I miss that as a kid? And that's the levels I was saying, like, it did not spare you. And it gave you hints, but at the same time, man, if it wanted to go deep, it'll go deep. And
it comes back into two parts, in my opinion. I think it's at the same time of just really not getting. Children are innocent.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't get it when I was.
And it's also just you're innocent, and that's why it's one of the things. Is good to have as a childhood to have that innocent protected.
Of course.
Until it has the reality of the world has to shine. And
when you're 35 and you're driving and you're like,
there's a balance. I mean, you don't want to, but there's a balance within it. You know?
I like the fact that the door was open to lead to that conversation. Because you do have like kids trying to figure out what does.
I think there's levels to it in like modern day. You'll know this more than I do, especially because as a parent, and also the parents in this climate. The reality is that, and I got a friend. She has a daughter who's about 8 or something. Some of the questions that she comes out with are questions that parents actively don't know how to answer. But also knowing a lot more things about going on in their surroundings in this situation compared to us. And one of the key ones is like how a kid walks past a homeless person. And she asks mom, why is that man outside? You can't explain to that kid that, you know, he's outside because, well, he messed up. It's like, no, that's not what it is. Or it's not how no. He's outside because he can't afford a house. Why can't he afford a house? Because that's the dumb rabbit hole. So you're having to explain, not even just in that respect, maybe not having that explanation, but they're seeing it. So their innocence is already slightly tarnished because that's when you start finding kids who are saying, I'm going to go write this man a letter, I'm going to go sell some orange juice. to get the bit of money to give that man. She ended up doing that. My friend's daughter, she did that. In that respect, it also identified as that social injustice in that.
And it also kind of puts it back on you as a parent because, I mean, obviously, like my kid is one that she's not asking for anything, but like in that situation, you now have to think as a parent, okay, why is he homeless and why aren't I helping him? Like what is stopping me from doing what she did when she sold the orange juice and stuff? So there's that innocence also plays back on the parents, and maybe it doesn't necessarily get you to change immediately, but it makes you start thinking about things a lot. I think more differently.
Yeah, because like I think what they were able to do, especially if, as you said, probably to open the conversation and stuff. Because like I remember Captain Planet? I can't remember. They had. Or was it X-Men? Anyway, it was one of those. I know 2 different shows, but they had like
very wildly in quality.
Yeah, I think it was mostly Captain Planet because they had an AIDS episode on that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you know, Captain Planet came out
like
when was it? 80s, late 80s,
90s.
Yeah. So and then it was more of teaching people. Because like people believe that if you touch somebody with AIDS, you know, that sort of thing. So it was a way to let kids know that, you know, you obviously they won't say that this is the way you can get AIDS, but they would just say no that, you know, you can still hug a person with AIDS. You can still treat them like a
big deal at the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
really, because Magic Johnson's story is amazing. Because that's when you talk about, especially with kids, because one of the things I found out. There was a thing in his story he did really powerful. Talks about his because he found out he had AIDS while he was almost the prime of his basketball. And then it was one of those things of having to find. And we were actually not HIV positive essentially, but that was the misconception of like he's HIV positive with AIDS. And there's basketball. Karl Malone was like one of the baddest basketball players at the time. Karl Malone's kind of people call him certain names because Karl Malone is is like a country bumpkin. They kind of call him Uncle Tomish in some respects because of. He's from a certain era and a certain time, etc. But he also kind of like Uncle Ruckus. One of the things he actually sort of said was like he didn't want to play with Magic Johnson.
Afraid to get AIDS
because he didn't want to touch him. We don't know about all this stuff and all this stuff like that. And one of the things that was interesting is that there were kids that Magic Johnson formed the foundation to educate people. And so one of the things is for me to come up and say I have HIV, I'm HIV positive, but that doesn't mean that's the end of the world. I'm not dying like that. But there were kids that were also born HIV positive and then they'll be in their school. So that's why I can imagine Captain Planet tapping more so to them and saying, hey, that girl with HIV is not because it's a big you can't ignore it. You couldn't ignore HIV.
They also had quite a few episodes on drugs because didn't one of the Planeteers
started using drugs.
I can't remember that.
And that's what I appreciate about like
but I mean, the whole essence of Captain Planet was saving the planet. You know, and then you also problems of within that, so social injustice, inequalities. The fact that having people from different walks.
I mean, the whole of X-Men is a story about
that's actually why Stan Lee created the X-Men as well. Like, he was like really inspired by like the civil rights movement. So
because obviously there's like
until he started touching people.
Stan Lee.
Is it Stan Lee who recently came out with the comic books of like abusive allegations? Who was it like recently?
He was the one being.
It's not him. His daughter and some.
Is that the one? Is that the story you sent out recently in the group? He was him.
He's being abused, like because he once his wife passed away, like he lost a bit of his mental agility and stuff like that, and she was his rock. She used to do a lot of his finances and get him to make decisions. She made him create the Fantastic Four.
Wow.
Because he was going to throw that idea away, and but when she left, because she was kind of in charge of finances and things like that.
She passed away, is it?
Yeah, she passed away. Sorry, not left. But his daughter has always been essentially a freeloader. Like she's never worked a day in her life.
So what happened?
So I think there's been issues with the daughter. Like basically, they're almost physically abusing him as well. Like in terms of just, I want my inheritance.
Has he got mental capacity difficulties?
That's what it doesn't. The daughter fired all his lawyers and stuff like that. The people who were protecting him, and he had a doctor who would come and see him. I think weekly. Well, a couple of times a week to check on him. And now he only has supervised visits once a week,
right,
kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of up in the air. They're trying to.
How did the for another part? We obviously because I haven't actually read that.
Yeah,
it was on like the what was an interesting the article that was written from was the New York
the Hollywood Reporter. Yeah.
Very interesting to find out it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
talking about Magic Johnson, maybe remember a sports cartoon. Remember Pro Stars?
Oh yeah.
No, that's
Hurricanes. Yes, it's Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, and
MJ.
Yeah.
Wait, speaking of like stuff that moved between the real world and cartoons, remember the Nintendo one about the kid who used to play Nintendo games and got sucked into the game and became
and he had
Captain N.
Yes, I remember that. You don't remember that? Now, was that on TV or video?
That's the thing. Now I can't.
Do you guys remember Wish Kid? Macaulay Culkin, he had a magic baseball glove, and anything you'd wish, you'd make a wish and it would last 24 hours. It was fun. It was
sounds
awesome.
pathetic.
Listen to all the premises for all the cartoons.
They are, you know what I mean?
I never really watched Home Alone as well. I've never really been a big Macaulay Culkin fan.
So anyway, like then obviously just to.
Ding, 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 ding.
Like, we don't have proper visionaries is deep. Well, that's another thing.
Yeah, I think we'll go much deeper into cartoons, like proper reviews of these.
Spiral Zone, last little segment is the fact that we talk about Spiral Zone was actually political.
Oh yeah,
and political.
Yeah,
because the whole essence was that there was this illness, this thing that
oh my gosh,
chemical warfare,
biological warfare.
Yeah, biological. That's it.
Yeah, and they said in the biological warfare, and there was like the protected zone. Like if you came out the sphere, you would then get this.
You mutate,
and then you.
No, if you went in the sphere, it was.
Oh yeah.
Because the spiral zone.
Oh yeah, it was in the sphere.
Yeah. So the rebels were destroying this so that they can free the.
They get back at you. Yeah. And make it extended.
I remember that.
That was deep.
Maze,
right? And it was so meta. You guys, I started watching it again recently.
Yeah.
In the first
is it still on YouTube or is it on that cartoon whatever website? Yeah.
It's on a reputable site that's not illegal in any way. And like these security guards just having a random conversations. It's like, my brother-in-law lives in Detroit now. It's like, he just watched he's like, you just watched Rocky's 27. I was like, man, they're like, just those little subtle things that they throw in. And like, and I can't remember, he mentioned something that was so Detroit, it was unbelievable. Something about the car manufacturer.
Yeah.
Like, they're still making cars, but it's still like a crappy place to live or something like that. I'm like, wow.
And that's a small dialogue intro.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do with anything in the episode. It's just these two guys having conversations.
The premise of these guys having real life conversation before L comes through.
Yeah, basically.
But anyway, so moving on from moving on from the segment of cartoons. So I'm not too sure why ZBC stopped international programming. Well, probably we kind of touched on it before.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, we know why.
I mean, do you want the story?
No.
Sorry. I mean, I'm here for that.
But I think that. No, that would be another podcast. Yeah. But the lack of international programming, I think, gave a rise to Joy TV and the rise to DSTV. So Joy TV.
I'd like to use rights with Joy TV in the same sentence as ZBC Crosslands. That's not what happened. That's not how it went.
No, I know. I'm saying that because we only had that one channel, we had the alternative. And if you've got having one channel, it wasn't saying that Joy TV was better then. It was just saying that it was an alternative.
No, it was.
It was better then.
It was better than ZBC.
Yeah, it was actually
much better.
Well, late to 90s.
No, from the start to the end.
I don't know why. I mean, we love ZBC. Don't get us wrong. But Joy TV was
patriotic for
every level. They can't hear you from here, man.
I know that.
You're safe.
You're well. So hey, you're honest.
They're not gonna get you out here.
You want to compare ZBC's entire longevity to...
I just like the fact that we looked at all of the things that we loved about ZBC, and then we're like, but
Yeah, but Joy TV.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, if you have to put it into like a proper ZBC, was like a national broadcaster, so it's like BBC in some respects.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So you're pleasing many people, so you have to taper it and trying to cater for a lot of people in more than one way. So from the cartoons.
Yeah.
The same thing else as his kids, like, when did the cartoons start?
Yeah.
When they finish, I was like, when did these cartoons finish, man? I'm looking for whatever I'm looking for. But it was one of the things that they did well, was having that period between 4:30, 5 o'clock, all up to about 7, 8.
Oh,
that was family time. That was the time, so you start like on a Monday, you have like Afro beat and stuff like that. You have other things that you start talking about, the different soaps, so Mkadota, Paraffin, then you go to Gringo, etc.
Do you guys remember the mechanic show? I can't remember what it was called, but there was a dude who always used to fix cars, and he had this broken down car that was parked, and he had all his special tools in the boot, and he had to tap it in a special way for it to open.
Or was this on a video?
No. This was ZBC. I think it was a Kenyan show. Do you guys not remember this? It wasn't like a full-length show.
A Kenyan show in Zimbabwe.
I don't know. It wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
Send a message to your brothers.
I'm gonna ask them right now.
Club?
No, because it used to come. It was like a 10-15 minutes like.
What time was it?
And they always used to advertise it just before 5 o'clock news.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'll ask them now. Continue.
Yeah. So anyway, where was it? Oh yeah, Joey TV. So Joey TV started around, like, let's say 97, 98, I think it was. Spoke about it in the intro, but it was as you said, it was started around 3, 4 o'clock until, I think, was it 10?
About 7.
7,
I
seven,
don't think it was that. If I'm right, maybe about 10, it wasn't that long. I remember it finished around like 7, 8, maybe.
Yeah, but what they showed in that block,
it
was amazing. I mean, I remember loving the Nickelodeon block. I mean, they had like all the Nickelodeon cartoons, Keenan and Kel, Hey Arnold.
Yeah, that's what I watched.
I can't remember if this was where I watched Ren and Stimpy as well. That was a weird show.
Courage the Cowardly Dog was a weird show.
Huh?
Yeah.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh, have you actually watched Ren and Stimpy?
No.
Have you watched Ren?
Which is Ren and Stimpy?
Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life. Just go home. Just watch the first episode on both. For both. No, it's not scary. It's you're watching him just like, how did this end up on Nickelodeon?
Really?
Like, it's literally just innuendo.
It's obscure. Yeah, it's obscure. It's weird.
I'm alright.
It is hilarious, but I'm like,
how?
Yeah,
man,
how?
And then it had obviously Keenan and Kel afterwards. But one thing that I thought was absolutely amazing about Joy TV, I hope it was Joy TV, is
just taking away a little bit there.
Is the Mortal Kombat series. I used to watch that.
Was it on Joy TV?
I hope it was.
I don't think so, man.
I think you're right, actually.
Was it?
I think it
How
was.
did I miss that?
Mortal Kombat!
Nah, it didn't have the intro, but it had Kung Lao instead of Liu Kang.
Yeah.
It had Sonya Blade, Kung Lao.
I watched it. I definitely watched it.
I definitely watched it as well. I can't remember watching it on.
That's how the intro went? Are you sure?
I can't remember.
Dude, I remember that. Like, because that's the one that you had Raiden, who was the spike hair, and Raiden was Dexter's father.
Oh, serious?
Yes. Yes, Dexter the serial killer, that was his dad. Then Raiden was the dad.
It still No, it wasn't Christopher Lambert, was it?
Unless I'm thinking about the movie, yeah. Am I confusing the movie with the...
Nah, it's the different guy. I'm on the thing now. It was called Mortal Kombat Legacy. Nah, that ain't right.
No, Defenders of the Realm.
No, that was the cartoon.
Is that not what you're talking about?
No. This was a live action series.
The live action Conquest.
Yes.
Conquest was SABC though.
Yeah, 98, 99. So we could say probably we got it on Joy TV in the early 2000s or something.
I think
yeah. So it was only just for that one season.
I remember. They got all the episodes on YouTube because they have. Yeah, I remember this. So yeah, it's Conquest.
I remember Conquest.
I think it was on Joy.
I think it was on Joy. Yeah. It was on Joy.
Yeah. Because I remember Kung Lao, and then there was Raiden.
It was Joy. It was definitely Joy.
Yeah, Joy TV. Yes. And then they had these weird girls. Man, how fine was Tarja though?
As you say that. You see the intro is this is the...
Oh, was it? Was it still the same one? Man.
It was similar
I'm sure
to.
that was. Is that the one?
This is the one. This is the one.
Looks like it sounds like the one of the animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the same. It was the same. Yeah. And then they had Daniel, President
Bernhard.
Bernhard. Yeah. There you go.
And
He was also
one thing I like,
And he's a massive martial artist. He was in
He was in Highlander. He was in the Matrix.
Yeah, he was on Highlander.
Was he? Oh.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh, was he
in
that?
in the second one. He was
Second
he was the
agent.
upgraded agent. Yeah.
Oh, was he? Shao Kahn. No, Shan
Actually, I'm
Tsung.
lying. So no, Jeff Meek was actually was actually rating that one. The movie one is where you had Dexter's dad.
Oh, Christopher Lambert.
Christopher Lambert.
Yeah. Man, that was I can't remember how it ended, but I remember watching that and being hype. Because I mean, who doesn't get hype when Mortal Kombat?
And it was one of the few shows back in the day that had like full on proper martial arts fighting.
Yes.
It wasn't
And martial artists as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It wasn't like Walker Texas Ranger where around us.
Oh my god!
Dude, my uncle,
my dad, fam.
Whenever you're in Texas, look behind
you, because that's where the Rangers gonna do. And then, of course, you have to remember Renegade.
Yes.
Do you remember Lorenzo Lamas, the bounty hunter,
Yeah.
Harley Davidson?
Yeah, before we move on to that one of the things I hated about Walker Texas Ranger on a purely understanding his politics, understand that he's a bit of a racist Republican. He had the talking black dude who was just like, he's kind of like a semi-slave.
Serious?
Trevette was like this spineless black dude who kind of, who would like...
Yes, a mess.
He always got his butt whooped. My God.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think I saw him win one fight.
I remember Trevette being the dude who like Walker would kick all these dudes' asses.
Yeah.
Then Trevette like, yeah! And they come and handcuff him. Like, that's when you go to jail, buddy.
And every episode, Trevette, his hat fell off. His hat always fell off. I always remember just like, so why are you doing? Walker's not wearing a cowboy hat. Stop wearing the damn hat.
Oh man. But so we had that, and then I remember in the evenings, Joy TV, as I said, I think it was called MABC, and used to show like movies in the late nights. And this was when could be my first horror movie I watched. I could be wrong, but it was when I watched Candyman. Do you remember?
We all remember Candyman.
We all remember Candyman.
I remember where I was.
No, actually, the first horror movie, but that's a video. But on TV, it has to be Candyman. I remember watching that.
That's the
and
first
I
horror movie you watched a video.
freaked out.
Yeah, first horror movie ever. What was your
It's weird. It was Amityville Horror 3 about a killer globe.
the worst one ever.
I know, right?
I haven't watched that. But
It was.
Yeah,
you know, this is the
definitely.
premise. The family, the dad dies, and it comes back as a killer lamb.
Killer lamb.
Yeah. Sure.
Because horror movies.
Lamb.
Yes.
Like it's in light lamb or not
Yes.
lamb. Like am I?
No, lamb. Like what?
How's
Like
lamb
with the lamb.
This is a lamb.
It's a fun lamb.
Maybe an evil lamb. Evil lamb.
If you want to watch a horror movie with evil lambs, watch Black Sheep.
Oh yeah, there's a. Oh, of course there is a.
Is that the Australian one?
It's New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah,
Peter
yeah.
Jackson, the Lord of the Rings dude. That was his first.
Why is
ever
that
movie.
stereotypical? Because you're New Zealand make lamb and they got make evil lamb.
That's where the real lambs.
They're were-sheep, not werewolves. Were-sheep. It is
Were-sheep?
Were-sheep. It is the funniest, goriest,
Sounds
and
like it
at
should be
times
watched as
slightly
well.
scariest.
Yeah.
There are moments in a way you're genuinely like, okay, I know that's a were-sheep, but it's freaking me out just a little bit.
Oh my god, I don't. Wow, where she?
What was your first horror movie? Dude?
Yeah.
I've got several. Like
The
One,
first
the first
horror
one.
movie.
I can't remember. I think Candyman's up there.
Yeah.
I think obviously
Was
things
that
like
your
Friday the
earliest
13th. That's the one I kind of remember. That sticks in my head. Friday the 13th and stuff. But the one that plays in my head right now is Hellraiser. Like
Wow.
I watch
That's
it.
what I wanted.
Hellraiser with Pinhead and everything.
I never finished it.
One of the scariest films. It's the thing about it because I was a weird kid, right? So I didn't get scared at films like that because I didn't understand like that was the fear element of it.
Right.
It was just the fascination of how weird is this thing.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Hellraiser is like you got this guy who's basically got no skin. He's just flesh.
Yeah.
Right.
So he unlocks this cube, which releases these. It opens a hell dimension.
Yeah.
Which releases these creatures called the Cenobites. And when he opens it, it rips him to shreds. And the only way for him to come back to full fruition is for his wife to keep killing people. And basically, when the blood seeps into the floor, it adds another layer.
Part of his.
That's not what I got when I was about. That's deep.
Yeah.
What was the song with Pinhead?
He was the leader of the Cenobites. It was basically sadomasochism meets horror.
It was.
Because all the Cenobites had different parts of them, like, ripped open, and there was a lot of, like, bondage and stuff. Yeah, it was messed up.
What do you have to be on to think of?
How old were you when you watched that?
I was probably around the same age as you, so about 9 or 10. I didn't finish it.
Oh yeah.
I was watching with my cousins, and I was like, if y'all don't turn this off, I'm going to wake up the parents and how we were watching it. Like, straight up. They didn't like me that hard. I was just like, I want to sleep tonight. Never. Actually, I don't think
I didn't watch horrors in the evening like that. I don't remember watching.
But we could only do it when the adults went to bed.
Yeah, there's videotapes and cassettes and stuff.
It was a videotape, but there was only one main. It was in the main
TV,
lounge. Yeah. So when everyone went to bed.
What about with the kids? Like normally it'd be a case of, because I don't really like my household, it'd be like when the kids obviously would have a little time before the parents came through. Right?
Yeah.
So I watched a lot of stuff, but like around like 2 o'clock till 5.
Oh, you mean before the parents? No. This was during the school holidays.
Yeah, school holidays.
That's when all the
parents allowed you to go.
So I don't even know who brought the tape. Who brought the tape?
Someone
had the tape. Or it might actually have been my uncle's tape. No, my uncle used to have all the adult tapes you'd have hidden somewhere.
That's what I was going to say. Let's not talk about the blank videotapes.
The worst is like you'd find someone's stash. I found stash in the house, and like uncle's house number, and you're like, why is that tape behind the wardrobe?
Yeah.
That one tape.
And it's always broken. There's always a part of it missing. Like, you know that the flap on the end. You know what I'm saying? Or the flap. Yeah. The fat flap.
The flap.
I mean, yeah, we won't get into that because that's another podcast.
What was your first time? I'm going to say
I don't want to recount the first time like my friend just came like I've got a blank tape. We've been recording, and it was the wrong tape. And I won't.
That's just the worst.
You won't get into it. My first horror movie, I think, was I watched it with my brother. It was Alien. Wow. So I started off with a classic, like an actual good horror movie.
I don't even.
Was this video or still?
Yeah, video. No, this was video. Oh, first horror movie on
ZBC, yeah.
Was I think it was actually a horror series called V. Where there was
V a horror?
Yeah, these alien invaders. It was mostly mystery, but it had like some really gory moments in it. Really? These alien invaders come and they're like, oh, we come in peace and stuff, but then behind closed doors they're like chopping people up.
Is that the one with the kids?
Yeah, there were some kids in it as well.
Is that the one that I watched? So the alien kids and they're all like blonde. So
no, that's
Children of the Thing, right?
Children of the Corn.
Is it Children of the Corn?
Yeah, there's Children of the Corn, and there's another kids one.
Are you sure Children of the Corn? That's one. So basically, it's like an alien thing where all these parents in this area, in this village, have kids, and they're all blonde, kind of.
Yeah.
And they're all weird, and then
it's not Children of the Corn.
It's not Children of the Corn.
But
Children of the Corn is
Children of the Corn is the children in the cornfields. Like there's a possessed cornfield.
Nah, that's not the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
So they have these kids, and all the kids all look alike, and they're all supposed like aliens, alien beings.
Evil
kids, probably.
Yeah, born evil kids, killing parents.
Alien.
And then what they end up doing is that they would like subconsciously kind of go into their parents' heads, so they could like telepathically kind of control their minds.
Sounds like Children of the Corn kind.
Village of the Damned.
Village of the Damned.
Village of the Damned. Yeah.
So then they were basically 95 then, and then they would send their parents. One of them was like, let the parents go. Like one of the telepathic went to the mom's head, like when she was on like babysitting or something. Yeah. Jumped off a ledge and just. Yeah. It's like she committed suicide. It's like she wasn't depressed. Like what happened? Yeah. And then the kids look like she's fine.
Yeah, and they would speak in unison. Man,
how creepy was that?
Man.
Oh, there's like, you Google further on, meet the evil female cult leaders who drugged children, and they're all blonde. And it's a real life story.
What? Please stop searching that on my phone.
You know what I mean? He's gonna get ads for
that. This is what I'm saying. Man, my kid plays with that. No. Nah, fam.
feel like Tantra was like, ooh, children of the court.
And the worst is, wifey will look at me like, what are you looking for? No, but babe, it was the podcast. And he was never seen on the podcast again.
I was like, the next week's episode, we want to have a tribute to Bongo. It was a good run. Oh man, right. But anyway, yeah, so that was Joy TV, and I'm thinking if you go into DSTV, that's got to be another thing. But basically DSTV had South African channels.
What DSTV stand for? Digital Satellite
TV. Basically it was our Sky, basically.
Well, technically they actually had agreements with Sky.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, because they showed some football on it as well.
They showed them on football.
Oh, of course,
Sky Sports
on the Super Sports.
That's when I first started watching Sky Sports News, was on DSTV.
Oh, was it?
Speaking of random sports,
and Mnet had the agreement.
Yeah, Mnet Movie Magic Channel.
Random sports stuff. Remember, every Sunday they would have the NBA show.
Oh, on ZBC Sprite, sponsored by Sprite.
Yeah.
I remember the Sprite.
And then they'll have and then they'll have the top 10 plays of the week.
Yeah, it's basically because the NBA does that. But what they did is that they
sell
whatever they sold out. It's like,
but why did we?
When NBA still does that now, like the top 10 countdown.
But they'll never show NBA games.
No, that's what they didn't. That's what
they didn't.
They call it the Jump right now on ESPN.
Okay, I can't remember what it was called back.
It was Gillette. Oh, this is another one, Gillette World Sports. It was like it had like it'll give you like. Not the whole old games, but it'll just give you a snippet and interviews and
literally every sport.
I used to love Gillette World Sports.
This
is still going now.
Yeah, I was surprised it's on BT the other day.
It's amazing. Dude.
It is. And unfortunately, that's the end of our podcast. We'll end it with that. I wish we might do a part 2.
Yeah,
we probably will.
We've only touched the fraction.
I know, right?
Just skimmed everything.
Because like,
I'm not happy to talk about visionaries the way that I think we should have.
Now that's what I'm saying. We'll go into greater detail because like
visionaries,
we didn't even talk about like Zimbabwe movies and all that kind of stuff.
I was playing the song yesterday.
That's the most emotional song ever in the world.
That song is just
that makes you cry,
man.
Oh,
no, I put it on like a chilled playlist to play while I was cleaning the house, and it came on. I was like, I can't do anything.
Especially if you it was the perfect soundtrack because that's exactly what she was going through,
dude.
And the way they
that was emotional, my dude.
Like losing your husband the way she did, and
then the family. But when you start talking about yellow card.
Yellow card. It's a black boy, man.
Right?
Yeah, that was my favorite.
John Bunda, funny. I'm saying apparently he passed away. Yeah, he did pass away. Really? John Bunda. Yeah, he was on Gringo as well.
Yeah, he was on
Gringo's.
Oh, wasn't that Leroy Gopo? I'm thinking of another movie.
No,
probably you're thinking of Everyone's Child.
Didn't he get a spin-off of his own show like after Gringo?
No, I can't remember.
Gringo.
Yeah, man.
Bruh, that dude. Like, it always like Gringo was that dude that
everybody
at one point
has
you had a garden boy like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was like
uncle. Was he the garden boy or an uncle?
Both.
And do you remember the dumb boyfriend who used to visit the he was actually the writer.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
the tall skinny guy.
The dumb boyfriend who visited his girlfriend whilst he
else. Remember, I watched a lot of his interviews like after that because I think he was invested in Studio 263.
Yes, exactly.
I remember, he was really, really good, really creative. Really
I mean,
who was John Bunda in Yellow Card?
Who did he play?
In Yellow Card, he was. I remember in the trailer.
I think we're mixing it with because this is Yellow Card, right?
Yes, but
this had Leroy Gopo.
So the Yellow Card is much.
No, not the main guy. Like John Bunda had a scene in it. He wasn't. He had like a small.
Oh right. Is Yellow Card the one where he has AIDS, HIV positive, and he's playing football?
Possibly.
No, he gets a girl pregnant.
What's the one where the guy is like an athlete and he's running? He I think it's a sprinter. And there's a time where because he's HIV positive, and then he's like, he gets some blood in the inside, so he goes like, let me hold you. He's like, don't touch my blood, don't touch it.
I can't remember.
One of those.
Was it like a short movie, brother?
It might have been like a feature movie. Because Yellow Card is the one.
I typed in Zimbabwe, the first search, Zimbabwe yellow fever. Wow.
I mean, you have to know your
you know me.
You have to, this is the Google search in English.
I know, right? This is American.
We've got something going on.
Yeah, and then there's others.
You should Google them for Malaysia. I was looking at the country guidance.
Yeah.
Like when when you read the country guidance for each country, you just don't ever leave undone. They make it look like this world is about to blow up. There's terrorism in Malaysia.
Yeah.
There is this going on there. There's bouts of yellow fever. There's bouts of Brazil. What's the flu that was going on in Brazil where the kids were growing up?
The malaria one.
Zika virus?
Zika virus. Yeah. There's elements of
It's like there's Zika everywhere.
I'm like,
don't touch it.
What was the last dose? And meanwhere, there's the strongest strain of gonorrhea is found in England.
Gonorrhea.
Super strain. When they
Super
say
gonorrhea.
they say that they can't even deal with
It's like the Captain America.
The Captain America.
The Captain America of gonorrhea.
They got the pollution of gonorrhea, bro. You know what I mean?
Captain Britain, actually. Captain Britain,
Yeah. Meanwhile, are we reading on the
How
country
dare you
guidance?
stop me?
I'm not
The Avengers, I am super gonorrhea.
Burn, baby, burn.
No, okay, we need to stop.
I mean, sorry.
But
I was
anyway,
bringing a segment to Usher then. That is not fair. It's not fair on
but
it.
anyway,
For me to see this.
let it burn.
It's not fair on the homie, but there's still scratching in public. And that's not a good look on it. It's not a good look on it. I mean, it's not a discrimination. Like, yeah, this stuff happens. Like, it's not a case in that, but it's just, you gotta watch where you are, bro. Don't scratch in public.
But anyway, yeah, we had I think another depressing movie. I don't know if you guys remember it. It was called Everyone's Child. About orphan kids. One of them moved into a town, becomes a street kid, and then the other one gets abused by the uncle.
The kids doing the glue.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that well.
The uncle started abusing the younger kid and stuff. And one thing I liked about those movies, at least, is they reflected something about our culture.
Yeah.
Was it Sean? Is it?
She sang one of the.
She was in there. Yes. Dude, we have to also dedicate an episode of African Zimbabweans art and culture in itself, because one of the things that we don't get recognition for is how amazing our vocalists, our musicians, our poets in Zimbabwe are internationally acclaimed and celebrated. And I'm talking when they've got this poet I follow in Birmingham. He's talking about this lady Zimbabwean poet who's going to come through.
Nice.
Amazing. It's dignitary. I'm talking a high level intellect within that.
Thanks, dude. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Somebody else is a high level poet than me. Oh, it's fine.
Okay, I mean,
it's cool.
You're Sonya Blade level poet right now. See what I did there?
But
on that note, I'm here all week, guys. I'm here all week.
Okay, Nolly.
Don't bring your husband out here again.
Let me tell you about the stag.
Chapter 1.
But we'll definitely do that. And
I think part 2 is definitely needed.
The what?
I think part 2 is definitely
No, we definitely will sort out a part 2. And with that, we come to an end of our podcast, guys. I thank you guys for coming and reliving our childhoods.
Morning,
something.
Morning makes like there were happy moments.
In memoriam.
Yeah, I think we were even though the later stage of we escaped ZBC before it got even worse.
I was there.
But
I was actually we all came.
We
came
around the same time.
But I think that there was a time.
We left before the worst. Of
Nora wakomana.
Dude, this comes back to the heights of referendum 2000, and then the whole bill comes into not allowing foreign thing.
Yeah.
Then you start having it worked in one of two ways. Remember, I hated that little period, but my sister was kind of growing up after that, and she was really into sort of the local
of course,
was it Ricky and all that stuff?
Rocky, the music side,
the music side was great for them because it allowed people to come in and get a platform to come in.
Yeah.
But one of the things they also did on the propaganda level was high.
Oh,
it was all propaganda. It was all about the side.
They weren't even trying to be subtle anymore.
Dude, they were saying, the bulea that I know is a toilet.
That song.
You know what I mean?
And then, do you know what?
So that had 17 verses.
Dude, they'll play that song
that was
from
like
7.
10.
It was the propaganda stuff started from 7 till 8 until the news came on.
Oh.
Then the news came on. Then after that, it was 9 o'clock would be current affairs.
Yeah.
Then it'd be current affairs discussion from some guy lying to us how beautiful our country is. And then after that, then at the end you might get a movie at like 10,
11,
30 or something.
Yeah.
Then you get a foreign movie. That's the time that it would actually show stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was all local.
Oh yeah,
Like,
guys,
what
do you remember?
type of nonsense is this?
Guys, do you remember when we used to get like, I think I can't remember if it was after the news or before the news, and then we used to have like the program for the evening, and it used to play the instrumental of "Take My Breath Away," every time.
It's so random of all the songs. But I guess it makes sense. Like, you let your breath be taken away by all the spectacular programming, and by spectacular I mean two good shows and a bunch of crap.
But yeah, anyway, I don't know. Do you guys have any last thoughts before we finish?
I think we need to end on a positive, because that just kind of got me sitting depressed a little bit.
What's the positive?
Because the peak of I think that it was the transition of how amazing our television was, for us anyway. Yeah. Because when we were sort of growing up, we were having, and I think that's where it kind of is like the golden era for us. And I don't think you actually appreciate it. Post-colonization, we're now, 10 years sort of in. Yeah. We're now kind of getting good shows, good television. Yeah. We're now growing, and our parents are able to kind of achieve a certain degree of for themselves. Like, they like give us a bit more of exposure. Of course, yeah. So we get all that, and then it, like 10 years after, because it's like
it's opposite direction.
Yeah, the 2000, then it suddenly kind of depresses. Yeah. But there was, if I have to, that's hard, because you're talking.
On a positive note, we didn't talk about 18.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's for another show.
We all loved 18.
But I think that, of course we did. But I think 18 minutes of, there's some shows, I think in the same way with Knight Rider, I think they transcend more than just our own experience. Because when you go here, we're all talking about that. Talk about the Smurfs. We all 2 o'clock, Smurfs was on. We'd all be talking about Smurfs, but everyone talking about Smurfs.
Yeah, like for example, I think. Dude, anyway,
I'm gonna live forever.
That's not the one.
That's fake.
Gems truly outrageous.
Oh yes,
truly outrageous. Whoa, gems.
We are the misfits.
I remember.
Guys, let me just reach out for my man cards.
It was the only cartoon that boys would openly admit that they were. There was no guy who was just like, that's a girl's show. They were like,
Jim was, we are the misfits, these songs are better, we are the misfits, the misfits, the songs are better.
Oh my gosh, there was another show that came out soon after that, like another American show, the same sort of time, same kind of animation and everything, but positive note.
I think that's even positive enough. Yeah, that, because like we could
all the crap, there was always diamonds. It was like it was ZBC was an extreme on every level. It was incredible programming that shaped our childhood, let's face it, and then some really dire
low
and it also helped us connect with people outside. I mean, if you go out here now, because like I work in a retirement village, and there were like people would just discuss. I was just walking by, and then I don't know how they ended up with this conversation, and then they talked about Worzell Gummidge, and then I was just like, I know that show, and then they were like, how the hell do you know that show? Because it was like an obscure show from the 70s.
One of my friends remembers the car boot thing. What was it called? Sorry, continue.
Oh yeah, so it's just one of those that it at least allows us to connect with people who are like outside us, because we not understood their culture, but we knew aspects of their culture.
We had their cheat codes.
Yeah, basically, but.
We have a name.
Then again, Bo. But then again, if you think about it,
I'm just saying.
But they still revere Allo Allo and Are You Being Served as classics. Yeah. So in a way, we might not take much of it, but here they be.
Basically, it's like a bunch of like.
Or outdated.
we got assimilated. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. That's the genuine truth.
But. Positive.
No, but this is the spin on it. This is the spin on it. Yeah. This is the positive spin on it in itself. Because essentially, because Zimbabwe was a little Britain, England was supposed to make Zimbabwe.
It was a little Britain, yeah.
So we got English shows, we got English stuff. So basically, I wouldn't even be surprised that our parents watch things like Allo Allo and their own time, because that was shown in itself. So that's like a rerun. It was shown for like 40 years. Who knows how long it was shown for? Probably. But one of the things they probably did for us indirectly with that assimilations that allowed us to kind of get that knowledge on that one side. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then we could spin our own interpretation of that. We didn't get the hey, you're gonna watch this because it's what we watch in England.
No.
We watch this because it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
Yeah.
it actually was funny.
It was actually.
Yeah.
But well, kudos to the people who were selecting these programs. Intentionally or unintentionally. Yeah.
Like now, when you think kids don't watch, even if like watching Columbo, you know what I mean? Things like that. Or Paro.
Oh,
Paro
yeah.
is a certain generation of people. People don't watch Paro like they were.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Midsummer Murders.
Yeah.
Like that show. I would never go out and seek it, but let me watch 5 minutes of it. I'm stuck.
I'm invested.
Mate, it's like what was the another
Like, it's
one?
all- that's why it's
like Murder She Wrote. You watch 5 minutes, you be like, I want to see where this goes.
You know, like Midsummer Murders for me is that's the quintessential, because every episode is an hour 30 minutes. They're movies, man.
And they're movies, man. Yeah.
And
you don't want to start getting into it. That's the worst. Like
and you watch it and just like, oh, this is so.
So hold on.
No, it's just like, no, there's a piece of paper. Oh, he found the paper. Yeah, that's her handwriting.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, an hour and a half is gone.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, there wasn't any, like, the new like, crime shows with this, like, dramatic music, dramatic speed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, quips or something like that. But yeah, it was just like, you notice some things of the shows. You're like, wow, this is intriguing. Let me sit back and watch.
It's that 5 minute win, and it doesn't matter whether you've caught it right at the beginning or you're like halfway through it.
You would
Just
just
that 5 minute.
that window, as long as they got you to sit down, they
I
got
lived
you.
with my aunt for a bit, so
Was she a fan?
dude. We watched everything from Midsummer Murder, like that. We watched the entire
The whole block.
CSI. Or the Miami, Las Vegas, the Nevada one.
I love
the
Miami.
New York one.
Miami was the best.
Miami was fire. I'm not gonna lie. But then it kind of went further. Like, and my mom, that's why I'm kind of scarred.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I am.
Yeah.
Because things like Without a Trace, I can't stand those detective-y kind of things.
Yeah.
They're probably really cool and fire.
Oh yeah, but
You know, I used to watch Law and Order on my leisure, just chill.
Yeah.
But I was made. That's what you'd be watching while you're there.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah.
So it ends up being.
and true movies.
Oh, anyway, and on that we tried to
tried
put
to-
The end of the cartoon. What was your favorite cartoon? I know, hard. Whatever comes to your mind now. Favorite cartoon now.
because you mentioned it before. Samurai Beats guys.
Cool.
Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs.
Tarzan.
Yeah. Anyway, so that
So
will
what we're
leave.
gonna do this week is we're all gonna watch each other's favorite cartoon, right?
I want to watch Star Pizza, guys.
Please do.
I've already started Spiral
Zone.
Zone, so Saber Rider and Star Sheriffs. That's on you.
Oh yeah, I need to go back to that one because I started it.
Can I watch Saber Rider? Because Saber Rider's
I'm watching all of them. I don't know why.
And the Star Sheriffs
in the sky. Anyway, guys.
Ramrod will now take navigational control.
Anyway, don't continue speaking, but I'll end it there. I'll put the music now as this is ending because there is no way I'm going to end this.
Yeah.
But I just want to thank our guest TC and Bo as usual and as always. And the only person I know who the actor of Worzell Gummidge was, probably you do.
I don't want to say it because the heart's pressure.
Yeah, sure. I don't know either.
The what? Sorry.
Who acted as Worzell
The
Gummidge?
guy who acted George something.
Is he like?
I just thought it was the throwaway thing. It's not nothing serious.
Bye.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much, guys, and goodbye to my one fan. I hope he enjoyed this. And
There'll be two.
yeah, two fans.
Yes.
There'll be two.
Two, yeah.
Two. Oh, is there?
Hey, guys,
Nice.
please, whoever's listening to this, tell a friend. I mean, don't tell them what it's about because they won't listen to it.
True.
But tell a friend.
Yeah, tell them. Just say, yo, you need to listen to this, and just play it.
Just while you're doing your
Oh,
dishes.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. While you're doing your
Exactly.
dishes,
Or if you're
in the
stuck in
middle of a
traffic.
boring party.
Yeah. Try and put your kid down to sleep.
Yeah,
Encourage that. I rant. You might end up shaking your kid a little bit. It's like, yes, I feel this energy.
It's like, damn straight. It's like, spit binoculars. I remember Oh, but yeah, no, I mean, if on a date you've got nothing else to talk about, just play that. So,
And end the date right there.
yeah.
or find your wife, because it's literally just that. That person's either gonna marry you or you'll never hear from them again.
Yeah, if she connects with you with this, then
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Put a ring on it.
Yeah, she's a keeper.
Or he.
Or she.
Yeah. Damn,
I was gonna say something. I was like, I'll probably lose a follower.
You go to -1 listeners. We're all inclusive here, buddy.
Or them. Put a ring on them.
Put a ring on them.
Dude, speaking of, and there was an Irish TV series. We used to have Bailey Kissinger. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah, Bailey Kissinger. Do you remember that?
It sounds slightly familiar.
I remember it just coming on as Bailey
yeah.
Kissinger, and I used to switch it off. It used to come out after cartoons or on a Sunday afternoon.
It sounds very, very familiar. Like just out of the thing.
Yeah.
We'll
Anyway, this is goodbye from us, and we're gonna take care of them there. Bye.